Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2, Tariffs, Nintendo Switch 2. Welcome to your favorite place for video game and video game industry news, Super Gamecast. My name is Aaron. Joining me in the top left corner here is Bronson. How you doing, bud?
I'm excited. I'm geeked.
You excited? You
Geeking
stoked?
real hard. Yeah, I'm ready. My body is ready.
Duncan, are you stoked?
Me, I have Nintendo switched to being afraid that I'm not going to have any money.
Yeah. It's been, let me tell you, this has been a week. Outside of video games, let alone in them. And my goodness, we got a lot going on. So, you know what? Why don't we just go ahead and dive into this? We got, they did a Nintendo Direct explaining the Switch 2 and everything that's going on with it. So, yeah.
And I know it's so when we get into this, they opened it up with Mario Kart, man.
They do.
Yo, dog, how do you feel about Mario Kart Paradise?
Right?
Mario Kart Horizon.
Honestly, looks sick as hell. I like it.
This is exactly the direction. I was sitting here thinking, like, how do you even improve on Mario Kart 8? I feel like they nailed what Mario Kart was and what made it so great, just in so many ways.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're going to do open world Mario Kart. You're going to do the Burnout Paradise, the Horizon thing, like what other racing games have been doing. You are now going to do, and God damn it, I want this. God, I hate you, Nintendo.
I'd say this thing's very similar to Diddy Kong Racing.
Is that so?
Diddy Kong Racing did this shit.
Oh,
yeah,
you know that game Fuel? You know the one that it has the like 17-hour long race across the entire continental United States.
Yep.
Yep.
I want Mario Kart to do that. I want Mario Kart to give me the quote Mushroom Kingdom, and it's like an unfathomably gigantic map. And they have a race mode that is go on that long enough that you'll pass out.
I mean,
I don't.
That's not what this is.
No.
But that's how they can improve upon this.
They
well.
literally
There you
mapped
go.
out Mushroom Kingdom and all of its little
Map out
details. For the
Mushroom
first time
Kingdom.
ever, here is the entirety of Mushroom Kingdom.
You know, it's Super Mario Kart World.
Man.
God.
Hello, everyone.
I know. I did not know. Like Aaron said, I had no idea what you could do to improve upon Mario Kart and get me excited about Mario Kart. And then they got me excited about Mario Kart, bro.
They did it. They went
I'm
and did
actually
it.
really pissed about this announcement. I'm really pissed about this announcement because we did a fantasy games league where I had unannounced Mario Kart title for 2025 on my list.
You had unannounced Mario game.
Oh, I did?
Aaron took Mario Kart. Yeah,
right.
Aaron took Mario Kart.
I had unannounced Mario game, and it was a 50-50 whether I took the Mario game or the Mario Kart game, and I didn't get the Mario Kart game. So I've been cheering against a Mario Kart game coming out. And then they announce a really cool-looking Mario Kart game.
And I'm the one.
And
I was
here we are.
the one that picked Mario Kart.
I believe
Yep,
you were.
you got Mario Kart. I became track of teams, and yeah.
I was worried about that pick because I just didn't know how to improve on it, and so I'm like very pleasantly surprised at this move. I've been pausing here because I just want to look at this map for our video viewers.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is what you can drive across freely.
Yeah, you can get a Paraleague, the whole thing. See, my question is do they have billboards to destroy though?
That's
That's
the
the real
thing.
question.
I want things to destroy. There needs to be some sort of 200. It's Mario, so I'm expecting like 200 collectibles. You're not like crashing through shit, but who knows?
I see a big bridge there. You could theoretically do the entire map mega race where you have to map in between
Yes.
every single map for a single lap, and then you have to do that 3 times.
They have everything they need to
So-
make Burnout Paradise. Also, I want to point out that giant bridge is in the same exact spot that the bridge in Paradise is that you go across.
Yeah, the Big Surf Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah,
Aaron and
so-
I's weird obsession with Burnout Paradise aside.
It is not weird. It is entirely logical. What a perfect
Yes,
arcade
you're
racer.
right. Such a good game. I have bought that game on every platform. I have it on literally everything that I can possibly play it on.
Well, and so I'm sitting here like
Um,
there are 3 like general genres of racer, right? There's your sim, there's your arcade, there's your kart racer. And arcade racers have been sort of in a downslide. You've got Horizon, which in my opinion is a little, it's mostly arcade, but it's also tends towards the sim side and how it handles and how in depth they go with customizing how the cars work. But this is like this is like definitely mostly kart, but it's trending towards that, like it's got a little bit of arcade in it in how they've approached this. And so
Well,
I'm
and
stoked.
And I also think that that they're doing something new with the Grand Prix. You now have to race between each track.
Yes.
Like, so you have to, not only do you have to race the track, you have to race to like, you have to, not only do you do the race on the track, you race from track to track, track to track to track.
Yes.
Like,
I love it.
That's
You
awesome.
can
And
see the
then,
mini maps there. It means you're not looping anymore. It's just a straight line.
Man.
and then they have Knockout Tour, which
Right.
is Battle Royale, which, Battle Royale fucking Mario Kart. Let's go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty
Fuck
cool.
yeah.
Yep. They got grinding, they got wall riding to get to higher areas. This is good stuff. Different
Also,
outfits.
I mean, Battle Royale. If you thought Mario Kart was already a game where people got salty,
Oh yeah.
Battle Royale Mario Kart.
I miss this. They got
Whoa.
photo mode.
Yeah, they got a.
selfie.
I just
Bro, yeah. I saw this and I was just like, well, that's cool. $80. All right.
I know.
Great.
Well, I just had this idea. After every news segment today, we should re-ask the question to ourselves whether we're getting a Switch 2.
Yes. As of after this segment, yes. The Mario Kart segment here, yes.
Yes.
The Mario
Yes.
Kart segment makes me more yes.
Well, I know.
'Cause
So
that's
beforehand,
Mario Kart.
we were talking about this, and I was a little different. And then I watched the Mario Kart trailer. I was like, well, yes, of course. Why wouldn't I?
Well, okay, but there's another section of this Nintendo Direct
Yes, there is.
in which they go into the fact that at around I believe it's like 42 minutes.
Mhm.
I don't think this whole thing, but sure.
At 42 minutes, they say that they are giving a local play mode where if you are in the room with friends with the Switch 2, you can share games with up to 3 players that
Mhm.
they don't own and play it with them.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And,
So that means,
Mario Kart was a clear example that they were using.
Hmm.
that means me, you, and Anthony. Only one of us has to buy the game.
Right. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
All right.
all right. So yeah, Mario Kart. If you haven't heard yet, Mario Kart is looking to be amazing. So
Yeah, this is how you open an event, man. Let me tell you, this was.
it was a reaffirmation of like Mario and Zelda were the premier brands, and they're still pretty big, but it's Smash Bros and Mario Kart now. This is like the oh damn.
I would say that Zelda is bigger than ever now.
Yes,
but
it
even
is.
then, this is just
Yeah,
so good, so good.
Just yeah. Looking forward to
the
that.
17th, we get a whole hour on it.
I'm stoked.
We get a whole.
Let's do it.
You can also watch a whole bunch of footage on it right now because they did a treehouse with it. There's 2 20-minute videos.
Right. So
If you want to go see 40 minutes of Mario Kart, you can, and it's great.
there's gonna be plenty to see there. I'm sitting here trying to think of content like how can I make some videos so that'll allow me to just play a bunch of Mario Kart. Pretty good.
I'm so happy that I now have a summer game to review, and it's not Mario Kart. We get to it later.
So all right, we got the C button.
The C button.
Yeah,
C button.
the chat button.
Works with your Mario Discord. That's what I'm calling it. Mario Discord.
The Mario Discord.
It's Nintendo has made a Discord, and they've added a button to the controller to go to your Discord on the Switch, so that you can get your friends and you can talk about games. The games, you can live stream the games to your friends in the chat. You can make your screen smaller, make it so you can see less of your screen, which I think I probably won't do much of, but you can do it. And you can get a camera accessory from them, the Nintendo Switch 2 camera, to live stream your face over your game. And it looks like in some cases games will have like integration where your character will have a little bubble that shows your camera, and it shows your live reaction POV of of whatever you guys are doing.
This
You could see when someone's pissed off at you in your Mario Party game for not sawing the meat correctly.
This is a feature that definitely feels like it was figured out and made during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, they started development on this 4 years ago.
So this definitely feels like this feature was something they were like, oh, we need this because pandemic. And this is kind of what happened. So I think this is cruel if you are not us, where all of us own capture cards. So if we really want to be like, hey, check out my Switch gameplay,
Right.
you know, that's great.
But
we can do
my
that.
capture card isn't set up. So now I can use the Nintendo Switch 2's C button to show my gameplay.
You sure can.
You sure can. All 10 FPS of it.
I was going to say, we're looking at these
demos,
smaller screens because they're showing 4 bits of gameplay at the same time. The frame rate just drops. So I'm wondering if it'll go to intended frame rate when you select someone's
I'm seeing
video.
a slideshow of Donkey Kong Country on there.
Yeah, because I was watching the treehouse on my lunch break on, I think it was. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
they just
look at
showed
that.
the video of you switching to watch someone else's screen, and nope, that is in their own advertisement. That is like 15 frames a second, my friend. All right.
Yep.
So
yeah, like I think this is featured great if like you like it's for kids.
yes,
Like it's for kids or
Yeah.
like people who just are not people who make videos, so they don't need a capture card.
kids you don't
so they
trust
don't
with
have
Discord
one sitting
yet.
around?
Don't let them have Discord yet. They can have the Nintendo Discord.
Yeah,
Well,
like you
I'll
know,
say it makes sense economically also that it runs at like 15 frames a second because live streaming is unreasonably expensive.
Right.
The economics behind live streaming are really messed up and strange. You know, Twitch doesn't make money, for example. Discord's probably most expensive feature it has is the live streaming feature. And the like live camera feature. It's very, very expensive to put high quality live video at a high frame rate.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Nintendo is saving a huge amount of money by going, everybody gets 10 frames a second no matter what they're doing. Only the cameras can display at a high quality.
Which, you know, if you're gonna prioritize something, that makes sense to a degree. Just like more the social aspect.
They also put out a video of the like parental control features for this, and I think it's really good.
Okay.
You can like approve which friends they can talk to and when.
Nice.
Yeah, so like, and you can monitor who they've been talking to as well. So like, if they meet some person in a Splatoon game and start chatting with them a bunch, you'd be like, "Hey, who's this guy you keep talking to?" Oh,
His name's Greg.
oh,
He lives in a van down by the river.
Hey, we're not going to talk to Greg anymore. If you go on the app and you look.
Make an assessment. This could be fun, just having, people like we game together now and then. I have other game groups, and we even don't even like, I don't know, look at each other when we're talking. I feel like this encourages it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
I think that's cool. I you gotta buy the camera separate.
How much will it cost is the question.
That's the thing. They're probably gonna
spend $110 on a camera. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, like as we were going to say numerous times over this podcast, the price will be a hindrance that will like barely get us across the line for a Switch and Mario Kart. Camera, I think, is going to be a later addition for a lot of people.
The camera is $80.
Yeah. It's just not. I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna be worth it for a lot of people. But also, who knows who wants to shell out money for their new Nintendo Switch.
I think that the piranha plant camera is funny, and
Sure.
it'd be a funny thing to put in my living room.
I mean, yes, sure.
But this direct also details a couple features, such as the fact that the Switch 2, as it's showing, it can share game.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. It's also got a bigger screen, which we already knew. It's got the mouse just going on. It's got LCD. It can do 120 FPS. It can display 4K. The Joy-Cons don't drift anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
The
magnets.
speakers are more good.
Yep.
And they're magnets.
So, interesting thing about this.
FaceTime storage.
So, a couple of things that are to point out about the tech specs on this thing are it's stronger than the mainstream PC handhelds of the Ally X and the Steam Deck.
Nice.
It is smaller than both of them, even though it has a bigger screen. So, those are 7 and 7.4 inch screen. This is 7.9. And the bit
Cheaper pre-tariff.
yeah. We'll get into that. And it also is as thin as the original, as we can see here in the video for the video viewers. And the big feature to me is VRR support. Ever since I got a VRR display, I have become a VRR truther.
Okay.
And the reason is because it will. It's not 100% there, but it is like 90 to 95% there of making a 40 FPS game feel like a 60 FPS game.
All right.
Which
We're getting that much
on a
closer to
handheld-
60 frames per second Bloodborne. Is that what I'm hearing? Finally.
Yeah. Yes. But so what this does though is it makes like a handheld device, which doesn't have all the horsepower in the world, can make these games that don't run at 60 feel a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also Yo-Dog magnets.
Yeah, again, we've talked about this a number of times over the last few months, but I'm very curious what those magnets are going to feel like when you're trying to hold the thing and gaming gets intense. Is it going to hold or not? Who knows?
Apparently, so they've been doing that tour where you can go and check out the Switch 2.
Right.
Apparently, you got to pull real hard to get that thing off.
Interesting.
Like it's a pretty strong magnet. Also, the Joy-Cons are bigger. Is it big enough to solve my problem with them? Probably not, but we'll see.
We'll see.
They're putting the speakers in their own enclosure, so that way they get better sound.
Right.
It has a built-in microphone with AI noise canceling.
Right, which hoping that works well, because if it doesn't,
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 3D audio.
We've opened the door to Mario Party microphone games again.
Yeah.
Yes, that is actually talked about later in the direct, how they're going to have camera and microphone mini games in Switch 2 Mario Kart.
It's time for Hey You Pikachu 2,
Mario
finally.
Yeah.
The game that everyone wanted, I'm
Everyone
sure.
wants some more of that garbage.
They finally made a not terrible kickstand,
Very good.
Right.
so that's good. The original even the Switch OLED's kickstand is
Not
trash.
good.
It's
Yeah.
not as trash, but it's trash.
We got two USB-C ports, which is nice.
Because one is
Yeah, that's good.
a silly camera.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, they got a better charging block now. And
Good.
one that is not like just rooted to the damn thing. That's good.
Yep.
Larger, faster storage.
Octupled the storage. That's good.
Very good.
Yeah.
We like that.
So you do have to use a new type of SD card.
Yes.
It's a micro SD card, but it's a way faster one.
Right.
So that's a thing.
That's something to keep
new
in
dock.
mind. New dock.
With a fan in it. The dock has a fan now.
Beautiful.
Keep it cool.
Yep.
It can do 4K. It's a 4K device, capable device. It's probably upscaled, but still. Yeah, no, this is. I'm gonna be real. I think this is actually kind of above and beyond what I was expecting for hardware quality.
Honestly,
I was
kind of.
not
Yeah.
expecting. I was not expecting a BRR or an HDR screen. I
think
was
part of
not
it's that
expecting.
they in making this console, they make it look like such a direct sequel to the Switch one that it feels like it's an extension of it, rather than a proper
They-
console change the way they're doing.
Yeah, they went. This hardware literally fixes all of the Switch One's hardware issues.
Right.
It is crazy.
Which again,
How,
like,
like-
if you're expecting a full-on new console, like sequel console, like
But-
that should be it. But because of just how they've been presenting it and doing it, it's like okay. Yeah.
Yes. I also think that the price here, during the Treehouse Direct, we'll get into that, but
Yeah, we'll get into
like
that.
the price stuff, during this, they don't show the price at all.
No, they
and
do
this
not.
is their,
for
like,
understandable reasons.
And this is like their 1-2 Switch game. Welcome Tour. Like, they did Welcome Tour here.
I'm watching Welcome Tour. I couldn't help but sit here thinking like, oh dog, you could have done your Astrobot. You have the guy that
Yeah,
you have
like, why doesn't
the
this
Mario
come with-
man.
Yeah.
You could make a me version of Miyamoto or Iwata or Reggie. Well, you can't do Reggie anymore, but and just have him run around. You could do stuff.
They don't really show it in this, but the Mii's are back with Tomodachi Life.
They are. We will see them
Coming
soon.
back.
So this would have been a good time. Make your me and run
And
around.
they have the updated Mii engine that they had for that fantasy adventure game they made. That was another one of those Mii simulationist things. And that's really good. It's an incredible Mii maker. And so the fact that we're getting the updated Mii maker, but for the proper return of Tomodachi Life, that's really exciting. I think in the same direct where they announced that, which is not this direct, they also announced that Silksong is coming.
Yes, that's later in this
2025?
presentation.
Yeah.
Well, it's in this presentation?
It is.
Because I just skimmed the entire thing and I couldn't
Yeah.
find it.
It's very brief.
Yeah, it's very brief, but yeah. My question is like, how expensive is this? Because like, I think these mini games could be a lot of fun if it's like $5-10.
No,
Sure,
$80.
why not?
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to
even-
be anything crazy.
it's probably not $80.
All right. Duncan brought up a really good point about these Switch cartridges. How does the Switch 2 cartridge taste?
How does it taste?
I want to know.
It's red, so like cherry, right?
But it needs to be like
It's
really
gotta be
disgusting
good.
cherry.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Switch cartridges, for anyone who hasn't tasted them, for some reason, why would you have not tasted them?
Why not?
They are coated in a substance called Bitrix, which is chemically the like fundamental distillation of bitter.
Yeah.
So it is ridiculously disgusting to put a Switch 2 cartridge in your mouth
Mhm.
as an anti-baby choking method because they realized we've made our cartridges even smaller. They're perfect for choking on now. And that was already a problem with DS games. How do we fix this?
Yeah, and
Make
they
them
added
poison.
they
Yeah.
added like additional buttons to the Pro controller.
Yeah, I just want to show that off. GL and GR. How many letters of the alphabet can we
Yeah.
fit on a controller?
Back paddles, yep.
We're gonna find out.
LR,
hate that.
ZL, ZR.
Yeah.
I actually don't like that. I can't use back paddles on my controller because I grip too tightly, and I accidentally
interesting.
press them.
Yeah. I want.
So the fact that those aren't removable back paddles, not a fan of that.
Sure. Have you guys used like Duncan? Obviously not you, but like Bronson. Are you big on like? Have you like worked with back pedals in your controller? It just feels like unintuitive to me.
Well, only the Steam Deck, and it's really cool in select games. Other games I really don't care and think it's just whatever. I don't.
I mean, I've tried.
worry about it.
before. I tried to use it for Destiny 2 because it's more efficient for certain things to be able to use back pads.
Sure.
And I mean for a lot of games, if you can use back pads, they're good. It's just some people can't use them good, like me. They get in the way because I'm gonna blame my tiny hands. I think I need to hold controllers harder because of my little baby hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it so that if there is a button on the back pad, that's where my fingers want to rest, and I just will end up pressing it when I'm not meant to.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. Seems like they're trying to add them more. So we'll see how people like them. I'm curious. They went with the offset joysticks, which I guess is that's what the regular Switch does. So whatever. But,
Right.
Yeah, they're very safe in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the hardware itself is very impressive.
Sure.
I think that after saying the hardware, I was like, yeah, I'm down. It's checking all those boxes.
Yeah.
They showed the date. It's June 5th.
June 5th.
So 2 months. 2 months away. I really hate that these reveals do not are so far away from the release date sometimes.
Yeah.
The 2 months wait seems agonizing.
See, that's the thing though, is I feel like that announcement is actually pretty late, and I don't know how much that is bore out by history, but that's my gut feel is like, wow, that's actually coming soon.
Some games that were released
So the Switch 1, they did something similar. Like they did a small teaser video and then the full shebang.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's out almost immediately.
Yeah, it's like out in 2 months.
Right.
There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, they talked about these Switch 2 editions of games, which are basically like, so some games are getting free updates through the Switch 2 edition, like Mario Odyssey, which is like it runs at better frame rate, it looks prettier. And then there are games like Mario Party and Zelda, which they are adding a bunch of shit to,
Right.
and getting Switch 2 editions that cost either, if you own it, you pay for an update pack, or get it as part of the online service. If you don't own it, then it is a full price new video game.
Yep.
So
$80.
Using the camera for Mario Party is going to be devious. We are going to see some awful clips online.
Yeah, that does feel.
This might be the first time in the history of my adult life. The camera with the star.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
I'm fully anticipating like someone just full bare ass when in a win like TikTok video. This is.
I look forward to playing this with my girlfriend.
Yeah. This will be a fun.
She is
with friends, whatever.
She's a big Mario Party fan, so I'm.
Who isn't? Who isn't a fan of?
I love me some Mario Party.
Of destroying, any bonds that we have.
I mean,
I
I am. Dokapon Kingdom is my goat.
Exactly.
I'm not big on Mario Party, but I do enjoy it in select contexts.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna play
Um,
Mario Party when I'm by myself. Like, that's not. It's about let's do some awful nonsense together.
I
Let's get some drinks.
I think these camera and mouse mini games look genuinely awesome.
That's nice.
They do.
Like, they look really cool.
I think specifically the mouse is giving a level of control to the thing that I feel I think Mario Party mini games have always had a problem of their mediums, where there's like not actually a lot of stuff you can do at a certain point. You kind of run out of like your control methods are limited in a lot of these games. That's why when you look back at a lot of the Wii games, it's like every third mini game is just jerking off really hard.
Yeah.
Because you kind of can only do so much with that controller. I think that the versatility that the mouse, the camera, and their utilization of the motion controls here, and their utilization on the microphone too, brings a lot of possibilities to the mini games. And that's cool.
Right.
I think the camera and microphone video games have me stoked. What has me more stoked though is this Zelda stuff. Not as much the Breath of the Wild stuff, but like the fact that like yes, I'm excited to play Breath of the Wild 1080p 60 HDR. That's gonna be cool,
Yeah.
right? But Tears of the Kingdom is adding connectivity to your phone where you can download other people's builds.
That's nice.
Yeah,
This new
That's,
feature
And-
is accessed via the Nintendo Switch app on smart devices.
it trivializes
good,
a lot
good.
of the game.
It's a game
Like, I feel like
it's exclusive to the
Yeah,
Switch 2 editions
I
of
have
this
some
title.
issues with Tears of the Kingdom, inspired by a 3-hour-long video essay I watched one time that told me what to think. Obviously, you can't have original ideas. And I think part of the problem is that Tears of the Kingdom has its build mechanic is so powerful,
You can share your creations using
and
QR
that you can
codes
actually
similar
like,
to another player's
if you
Nintendo
really try to explore the possibilities of how to optimize how to win in most situations, the build mechanic trivializes most content, specifically the air bike, where you just put 2 leaned fans on a steering wheel. Like, actually, like 70% of the game's content could be completely trivialized with that build alone.
So-
And I think that having access to other people's builds means that you're going to get a most popular builds list, and that most popular builds list is going to be the 4 builds that beat the entire game.
And that I'm gonna quote in software here. You control the buttons you press.
Right.
And in this instance, like, because you have people like me and people like you who are gonna want to build their own shit, right? Like that's just how I am. I'm gonna want to figure it out on my own.
Right.
But the reason like Anthony didn't finish Tears of the Kingdom is like he just does not have the creation brain. He loves every other part of the game, but he just does not have create like what I will call engineer brain for this kind of thing. So he had a lot
Yeah.
of trouble because of that. So I think for people like that, this is awesome.
Right.
You know,
It is great.
I think that's great. And I also think that like you still need to go get the batteries to drive those devices. And I
Well, that's the
also
thing is that the best device in the game is also the device that is like the cheapest to run because it's just 2 fans.
yeah, but even 2 fans will deplete battery real quick if you don't farm up battery and do a bunch
but,
of shit to get battery.
That gameplay loop is always true. You have to go to the locations. You have to get the juice. You got to get more juice for each thing. You got to do the completionist run of the Zelda game.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I don't know. I think that the argument that the crafting is too good, it makes the game easy. I don't know. It just doesn't hold weight with me. It's
It
just
holds
like
weight
the
with me
point of the
because
game.
my broken
crafting.
brain, my disgustingly broken brain, where I must do the good thing. I need to optimally figure out what's good. I figured out the air bike on my own, and then was like, so everybody's done this, right? And then I looked it up, and certainly everybody had done it. It's really, really good. There's
It
not
is.
a single- Korok puzzle in the game that is not solved by sticking it to the bottom of an air bike.
Yes, but you want to know it's not efficient. That was fun to make. The Bokoblin torture chambers.
Right.
the dick mechs. There's a lot of shit in that game that people would just make for fun, and I think that's the hard part for a lot of people. But I think the schematic stuff is awesome. Like I said, I'm not really gonna use it outside of like post game when I'm just like kind of curious. But I think that for people like Anthony, that's like a godsend.
For
Same
me,
thing
I
with
think the most interesting thing about this re-released is the map accessibility from your phone. It's being able to manage those things without like having it up in the game and like kind of pausing the flow of stuff. Being able to track your location, being able to go, oh, I'm going the right way, and then make those kind of micro movements. I like that. It's good. It's a good little feature.
I also really dig the how they've added additional like Zelda notes and like Zelda like voice lines where you go to a spot and Zelda will give you some info about it or some lore. I think that's really neat. I think that this upgrade is cool. I think people are kind of underselling this.
Kirby also.
Kirby's here.
What is the update in the Kirby one? Because I never played this game, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't. Because
I think it's literally just new levels. Like it's not new levels. It's existing levels that are updated with Star Goo.
Star Goo.
We hope you're looking forward to Kirby's new adventure.
I'm down. I like Kirby. I want to play this game. I just never got around to it.
Right.
Same.
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 4.
I want to know what kind of eldritch horrors Kirby will meet again.
Yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
Metroid Prime 4 I'm geeked for. Someone on the Reddit actually did a side-by-side, and the Switch 2 version looks way better. Like, way better.
So here's what I'm most excited about with Metroid and Splatoon is mouse controls for shooting.
That's gonna be so good.
Yeah,
I'm very into it.
Mouse control Splatoon is going to be some next level shit.
I'll tell you, the even younger generation of Zoomer than me, they're really good at Splatoon. They're really good at Splatoon, and the reason they're really good at Splatoon is because they grew up with gyro controls. And gyro controls they're so unreasonably good for shooters. If you can use them, they're really unintuitive at first, but if you get used to gyro controls, the level of accuracy and adjustment that you can do is actually unreasonable.
This is something I discovered all the way back in Killzone 2, but I found I could only use it for sniping to get the fine tuning down. I could never do it for just general shooting.
Yeah, that level of micro, that boom, the little taps, it's I feel probably even more precise than using a mouse.
Yeah.
So I am an Unreal Tournament person from the olden times. I'm about to show these Zoomers what a mouse can do.
Let's go.
They're gonna get these Splatoon 4 hands. What's gonna happen there?
Choose from these two modes.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Metroid cool.
Metroid 120 FPS at 1080p.
Obviously, Pokemon.
Yep.
Pokemon coming.
Pokemon may actually run decently.
It actually looks a lot better on the Switch too. It doesn't look entirely like a PS2 game.
Yeah. We got that going for us. It seems like that's just the way to play this game, to be honest with you. Just, I don't know, every time I looked at ZA, it's like, it looks like that again. All right, but now that actually looks decent.
Yeah, like, it doesn't look amazing, but they improve it. So how are we feeling after seeing like the updated versions of all of these? Are we excited? We like, hey, let's buy this. Let's spend that money.
Definitely a hey, let's buy this. I want to buy this game.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm not crazy about this. I'm not dying to go back to these games at this point. It's great for people who really get something out of those games and want to go back. But upgrading old games, it's something that I feel like I don't want to blame us, but I'm blaming us for our years of doing games industry coverage. That after like a couple months of playing a game, I'm like, look, I got to go on to the next thing. I can't. Like I've been working on this Monster Hunter Wilds review, and it's like this is great and all. I got other games coming up. That's awesome. So that's just where my mind's at.
The upgrade alone isn't what's selling me, but the direct as a whole, it's just so far that they sell the console really well.
They do
the way they're talking about it.
I have not played Mario Party Jamboree or Kirby yet, so I'm like, fuck yeah, I get the best version of these two games.
I also haven't.
But Breath of the Wild and But Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom I played into the dirt, so kind of like, oh, cool. I'm excited to check those out. The interesting thing is these are paid upgrades.
Yes.
If you own them, it's an upgrade pack, or it's the cost of a new game. It's going to be $70 to $80. However, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, like the full, their $50 a year online service, those are free.
Nice. Okay.
So they're really trying to put some extra value on that service. Sorry, what?
3 of them, you might as well get the expansion pack upgrade for your online. That is, unless you want to own it forever and you don't care about the online.
Which I do, because I play Smash Brothers and like playing old games. So
right.
For me, I'm cool with that. What they do next?
So we're talking some wheelchair basketball right now. This is their Switch 2 arms, which I don't know, could be fun. I don't know how people will, if this will get popular or not. I like the name Dragon Drive. That's a good name.
Similar.
I think it's pretty predictable how this is going to go. I think it's going to be good and fun, and no one will play it, and there will be a cult group of people that will ask for it to come back every single time any Nintendo anything happens.
Yeah.
From here unto forever.
There's something very Rocket League they're going for with this, and I think that's cool, but I don't think they go as far into what makes Rocket League great. Like Rocket League has done the basketball thing too. So it's got ramps on the side, so you're like doing tricks on the outside of this basketball court, which is pretty sweet. And you can do wheelchair slam dunks, wheelchair high fives. This would be a fun little thing, Look at this.
My favorite feature here, honestly, is the cute little wavies you can do.
Yeah.
Where you go
loose hand. Yeah, it's good.
And then your tiny little hand freaks out because you're moving with full range of motion and it's like moving insanely fast. I love it.
Yeah. So I don't know. That'll be a fun little thing. But also, one that's not going to be, I think, very arms. There'll be a subreddit of about 100 people with 5 people talking about it. Anyone looking for a game right now? So.
The Discord will be popping with those 4 people.
It sure will be. Hey, they're bringing Elden Ring to Switch 2.
Yeah, the third-party support. Visually these all kind of look like what you'd expect out of PC handheld versions.
Right.
Maybe a twinge better. Like, this is what Elden Ring looks like on a Steam Deck. This is what that's cool. I played this game.
It's cool. It's there. I'm not gonna touch it at all. I'm gonna stay away from it. I don't need to buy Elden Ring again. I've already bought it twice, and I've played it too much.
Right. But this will be cool for the Nintendo kids that are growing up with the Switch. They're getting older. Switch 2 comes out. Here you go, buddy.
You haven't put 250 hours into this game, so you could go play it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Hades. So
Greg Kasavin
for Hades.
Yeah. Greg Kasavin, lovely man, here to talk about Hades and Hades 2. Fantastic games. So.
I haven't touched it yet. I'm waiting for it to be a real game.
Yeah,
that's
I'm waiting
fair.
for it to be done.
They charge money. So I reviewed it as such. But I like it for what it is right now.
It seems cool.
Yeah. So Street Fighter, eh?
Street Fighter.
They're gonna be fighting.
Also getting amiibos. Like it's getting like Street Fighter amiibos.
Yeah. Who's collecting amiibos here?
Me. Only me.
How you doing, bud?
I'm the only one who's
Me.
in this dark. Honestly, I kind of am indifferent to the Street Fighter amiibos because I don't care for two of those characters.
Wait, but what if?
Well,
Hear me out. What
characters.
if?
Yo, you don't care for Luke.
And I don't really particularly care for Jamie. Like, he's fine.
Kimberly is
it's
cool.
not like Luke where I just like him. I love Kimberly. She's awesome. I might buy that amiibo.
Kimberly's
Bronson,
fantastic.
you can train them like you could on the on Super Smash Brothers amiibos, where you could make the amiibo smarter to get a stronger AI.
Ooh.
Street Fighter cockfights, like amiibo cockfights back in the day. Yeah.
They should. I don't know why they would stop at 3. They should just do it.
I mean, yeah, if they did Zangief and Akuma and Ken, I would be all over it.
Make one for all of them.
Yeah.
People are gonna buy them.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the rest they're doing is cards.
Well, yeah, at least for now.
This game that I don't recognize. but it
Damon
seems cool.
Ex Machina. Is that what this is?
Yeah, this had a Switch version originally, and that was like they just had frame rate issues. So getting a full-on version like
Would be
cool.
nice. Good for them.
Yeah.
Really reminiscent of Armored Core to me.
I know there's a little bit of that, a little bit of it's what got me interested initially, and then just reviews came back, and I was like, it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm happy this game's getting another chance. I've heard good things about it, but not like amazing. So that's cool. Let's see what else.
They
Let's get.
are AC6 again though. Yeah, I love my AC6.
Here's
There we
Mr.
go.
Split Fiction, Mr. It Takes Two.
Mr. A Way Out.
Yep.
Mr. Give the Middle Finger on the Game Awards. This guy's cool. But yeah, Split
Anybody
Fiction
got
on the
Split
Switch
Fiction
makes
yet?
sense.
How is it?
Yeah, my girlfriend tells me Split Fiction is fucking great, and I can't wait to play it.
It looks like it's another It Takes Two, which if that's the case and it's just like sci-fi fantasy mix up, like that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get to that this summer, hopefully.
Yeah.
Of course, the other big announcement, the FIFA and the Madden.
Yeah, well, it was a
They were already
sports
doing
game.
FIFAs.
We
But
will talk
Madden-
about this once again when we get around to that news story. But yes, they are
Yeah.
bringing them back to Switch.
Yeah, I think the big thing here for me personally is like all of these games, except Madden, already work on my Steam Deck.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's like. Now that said, I think for the general audience this is great because
It is.
I don't think PC handhelds are for everyone. In fact, I don't think they're for most people. They're kind of a pain in the ass to operate sometimes, and they're more expensive than this. So it's
Getting a cheaper handheld that's more geared towards the casual audience, and then getting Madden and FIFA on it is huge for
Yep.
a lot of people.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Same with a better version of Hogwarts Legacy. I think
Yep.
that's huge. That's
that's big.
uh,
And it's having a portable machine that can run something like this game is a good
Yeah,
call.
and people like that game. I have heard.
Yes,
yep.
what I understand.
It's a pretty good game, especially for third-party games.
And Tony Hawk.
And then the best game out of the shows.
Yeah.
here.
This was a game that I was planning to get on PC because of the deck,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm like, you know what? I'm probably gonna be carrying my Switch 2 a lot more than my deck these days.
The more you're looking at
Maybe.
this, yeah, it would
Yeah,
not be
well, I'm like,
it would not be a bad call in any sense. Just looks good.
Yeah.
God damn.
You know, there's a band that does nothing but covers of music in Tony Hawk games.
That's a good
that
bit.
That's sick.
They got a SpongeBob map.
They sponged.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
God damn it.
It looks good. So
I'm so ready for this, bro.
they bring
a new
Hitman to Switch too.
They are hitting, man.
Switch. Not only being Hitman, they're also being a new exclusive Hitman.
Yeah,
That's wild.
that's
So-
crazy. They love hitting men.
Man, this game got me loving hitting men.
Yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't love
Very
hitting
cool,
men?
man.
I'm hitting on men left and
Gender
right.
appeal
So
Yeah, they've got the banana peel in the Hitman.
and then real quick, there's a teaser. They didn't show anything. I got excited briefly, and then it was just a teaser for what we knew it was already coming, which is they're working on a new James Bond game, which having the Hitman people on a James Bond game is insane. So
did they confirm if this is Switch exclusive or not? I can't imagine it is.
Oh, I cannot imagine.
But
that
but
would
I
be
mean,
crazy.
that would be really funny if it was.
It wouldn't be the only game that is like wildly, for whatever reason, exclusive to the Switch in this showcase. But we'll get to that.
Squeenix is
Bravely Default.
Sure.
I'm a sucker for JRPGs on handhelds, so I'm all about this. And apparently, this remaster is only gonna be $40.
Okay.
Yeah, which they are in need of some cheaper titles, so that's good.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
I've never played Bravely Default, but I should. It seems
How-
it's got a nice art style.
Have you
art
played
style.
Final Fantasy IV?
No,
Oh.
5?
no.
Okay, well, have you played any of the Final Fantasies with a job system besides 11 or 14?
No. I've played 7, 14, and 15.
You should play this, and then every Final Fantasy game you play after, you say, "This is a lot like Bravely Default." They took this from Bravely Default.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
really make some
right.
people mad.
You're so
You should do that.
They could release. Oh, this Final Fantasy game's getting remastered. I'm like, yeah, it gives me kind of Bravely Default vibes.
All right, hey, dog, Yakuza.
0.
Yeah, they're doing Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. It's kind of more story content.
Yeah,
Even more.
More Majima.
This is my second favorite Yakuza game.
All right.
I am totally willing to buy this again for more story content in my favorite Yakuza game.
Yeah.
I think it is my favorite Yakuza game.
I like a Dragon a little more, but this one's very close.
Development partners.
Oh no.
You know,
okay.
I didn't
Ichiban, bro,
think it's
come
like a
on.
Dragon.
Ichiban.
I haven't finished it yet, so I can't say it's my favorite.
All right.
All right. What is this?
Even though I
right.
love it, I've got to play 5 and 6. So
You gotta get on that. Well, you know, with the
Five's
release
really
schedule
good.
what it is.
Six kind of drags ass a little bit.
Oh, drag
5
ass,
hours
alright.
into 5.
Yo, dog, you
They-
like Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah, they
Yeesh.
say Dynasty War. The
I-
War of the Dynasties coming to Zelda again.
Again.
I don't know.
I mean, apparently enough people played it that they're making another one.
Anthony really liked those first two, and then he told me he saw this, and he's never been so tired by a release ever.
That's funny.
That's how I felt about the second one. Like, I played the first one, and I was kind of all about it, especially because I haven't played a Dynasty Warriors game in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played the second one. I was like, oh, I'm exhausted. I think that Dynasty Warriors is really cool if you play one every like 15 years. Like,
Sure.
like
Never
play-
taken the dive from Muso games.
I really liked the third, I believe, Dynasty Warriors, and then I didn't play any of them really because they all look the same until 99 Nights. And then I played 99 Nights and got bored halfway through. And all of those games did not appeal to me whenever I tried them again. And then I kind of got into Hyrule Warriors, but even then I fell off of it pretty hard. So I don't know. This seems fine.
The cool thing here is that it is expanding on the story leading up to Tears of the Kingdom. So if you're interested in, you know, your Zelda lore, this game's going to be all about that.
I'm looking forward to the YouTube video
Exactly.
about
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Though obviously it can't change anything or matter. So because Tears of the Kingdom still needs to happen after it.
yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
they're people like to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I am it is about the journey, not the ending type person.
Right.
Right.
So I'm curious about, you know, how it works. Look, they're hot Ganon. So I mean, really, how can you be mad?
How can you go wrong?
Right. They do have hot.
How can you be mad with hot Ganon?
Online on Switch 2.
Nintendo Switch Online. Hey,
Yep.
GameCube games.
Gonna have the GameCube.
Game fucking Cube games. By the way, this service is only $50 a year, and you're getting Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, Game Boy Advanced, and now GameCube.
Yep. Yep.
Wow, and a DLC for a bunch of Nintendo games. Oh,
They got a game I was not
Great Wind
expecting
Waker.
on here.
yeah,
I'm
Wind
super
Waker.
stoked.
Wind
Let's
Waker
go.
availability.
Wind Waker is
Wicked wins.
a no-brainer for sure. Here we
Yep.
go.
Yep.
Yo, dog, Soul Calibur 2.
So that would do.
I saw Max just freak out over this.
I'm so
hard.
stoked
That's
about
my
this.
My
dude.
first ever fighting game.
Really? That's a good one.
All right, we need to get a Soul Calibur 2 night going
That would be
once we all
fun.
have Switch 2s.
That would be a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Do you want
I got
F-Zero?
F-Zero.
F-U. You get this.
This is the best F-Zero game.
It's a best
and
F-Zero
it's
game, and now
super
you're going to
fun,
have some
so I'm down.
multiplayer, so...
Yeah, and then also, hey, guess what? All these games are getting some upscaling.
Yeah.
So, there you go. You maybe this will revive F-Zero. F-Zero
could.
99 did well. If this does well,
I mean,
come
look,
on.
Yeah.
this is just you don't need to download Dolphin to play these now.
That's all.
is
That's what they're trying to do. That's where they're
That-
leading.
that- look,
need to download it.
Look, I think that's great. I am
That's
always
the thing,
for
though. You have to compete against free, as I believe Jeff Gersman put it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And then they
this
have
is a good
a bunch
way.
more games.
Hey, here's our console, and we're going to put the games on there. That's all we want.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's affordable. $50 a year these days is nothing.
Yeah.
That's practically free.
For access
And
to
then you
this.
can-
Yeah. Yep.
And
all-
you
all
can
I'm looking
remap controls just like on Dolphin. You can, and it's, it's there. It's legally and easily available.
Yes.
Also, they're releasing a GameCube
A new
controller
GameCube
for sale.
controller, which, you know what?
So
yeah.
important thing for me,
Sure.
they flashed Pokemon Coliseum and
They
Pokemon
sure
XD Gale of
did.
Darkness.
They sure did.
And those games are wildly inaccessible in the modern day.
Right.
So those are the earliest generation of Pokemon game that you can possibly get your hands on that has connectivity up to the modern games. And a copy of Pokemon Coliseum is $140.
Yep.
Oh,
Now, the issue here is that we are still missing a link that the Pokemon Gen 3 Game Boy Advance games were not put onto the service, probably for no good reason. So there's no existing compatibility between the Pokemon games that are on. There's no old port of a Pokemon game that we know has compatibility with Pokemon Bank on Switch. 3DS
so
had the remakes of Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal that were compatible with Pokemon Bank. And so you could transport them up from there, but we're missing that at the moment.
So I have a feeling that because Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are going to want to sell you a Pokemon Bank account, are eventually going to put out those games on that service. They have been putting these games out over time to keep people subbed. It's obvious. This is how all these sub services work. It's the same reason why you're getting week by week releases on streaming services. They want to keep you locked in as long as possible. I think that's going to happen eventually.
They'll
The
get there.
GameCube game that I won't. Sorry, what?
I just said they'll get there.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my, especially with those two Pokemon games coming, they have to do the Game Boy
Well,
Advance ones
there is an
eventually.
important thing I need to touch on before you move on from it, is because this is important financial news for those of us who have put our entire life savings into copies of Gen 3 Pokemon games. You need to sell before they add those Gen 3 Pokemon games to the Switch. It will be a nuclear bomb
Do it now.
to the
You
value
need to
of
sell
your Gen
now.
3 Pokemon games. You need to
Sell.
reinvest,
Mhm.
reinvest your Gen 3 Pokemon games in Gen 4 Pokemon games. People don't like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl,
No.
but they love Platinum. Platinum is worth so much money. You need to be buying Gen 4 and Gen 5 because stocks on Gen 4 and Gen 5 are going to explode the moment the Game Boy Advance games are added to the Nintendo Switch because they're not adding DS games.
Thank you,
This in
Jim Cramer.
person, I was just about to say, whenever we do this in person, before our show, anytime Duncan has like advice like this, we need to get him like a Jim Cramer like stock person outfit.
We need a red button for him to hit and alarms go off. I love it. I like this idea.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, something to keep in mind before this all comes out. So.
Yeah.
The GameCube game that I want on this service is a third-party one, which makes it super unlikely that they will throw any worthwhile thing at doing it. But never know. This company seems to be getting back into video games for some reason. Metal Gear: The Twin Snakes.
Yeah.
That game is $150 if you buy it new, or $150 if you buy it used. Excuse me, right now on Amazon.
Yep.
It is. Look, I realize it's way easier than original Metal Gear Solid. I understand that. But it is the best way to play that game story. I do not. The people who say otherwise are nostalgia blinded. I hold on to that.
That's not controversial in my mind.
It is not the original. It is Twin Snakes.
Yeah.
And it is the only place you can play it is on a goddamn GameCube or Wii. Or an emulator, and even emulating kind of sucks because it's a 2-disc game.
Right.
So I would absolutely love if they put that game out work with Konami to get that on Switch Online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you a pachinko machine instead.
Hey, all right.
I'm going to be honest. If we ever get to the point of having an office, I think that would be a really funny thing to have in the front of an office.
The Metal Gear Solid pachinko machine in it.
Yeah. All right.
I hear they're about $8,000.
They show off the GameCube controller, and we get into some more games. I hope you were tired of games.
Make that cost justifiable, Duncan. We would have to make a video to even close to justify it.
Let's go ahead and get forward. Hey, check this out, guys.
Deltarune.
Got some
That's
Deltarune.
definitely Toby Fox in that outfit. That's like the actual guy for sure.
Oh yeah.
He's been documented as having owned that. What a silly man.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Deltarune 3 and 4 on Switch 2. That's gonna be cool.
Finishes it. I think that's the whole game.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Undertale was a wild success on Switch.
Yeah.
It was like stupid. Yeah, like
wild success everywhere. Like it was.
Yes, but like
big crazy. Like
that game was always in the Switch bestsellers on the eShop. Like consistently, one of the best selling games on the eShop. Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that's obvious. That's gonna be on other platforms. It's gonna be, but still, like it's gonna be available on launch day. That's crazy. Randy
Pitchford just jump scare in your Switch 2.
I hate that man so much.
Hey, Borderlands, you ready for more of that?
Is that good? Who knows?
No. Who knows? I guess, but I don't know. Borderlands fans.
Okay, I heard a lot of bad things about Borderlands 3, but none of them were that the game plays bad.
Right. Well, I don't know. It just seems like another one.
Civ
7 with mouse support makes it a good add to Switch.
Let me tell you, I'm very much a play these games on PC kind of person. But if you are going to play it on a console, the one with a mouse seems like a dope idea.
Yup.
I've been craving Civ 6 lately. You guys should play Civ 6 with me at some point.
I have a game going currently, and thanks to the climate change feature, the ocean is wiping off a number of our cities right now. So I'm looking forward to the update.
you feel about Civ 5?
Civ 5 is incredible. I played so much of that.
I like
Um,
Civ 5.
uh,
I've just been on Civ 6 because I got really into the weeds of how to be good at that game recently.
Okay.
And I wanna try it. I watched a bunch of strategy stuff and how to play it good, and I haven't gotten to play it since watching all that.
Sure.
Alright.
Yeah. What's 2K up to? Oh, WWE
They're
2K.
bringing
NBA 2K.
Yep,
and
WWE.
These games, especially NBA 2K, are popular, so makes sense.
Aren't the WWE games all trash fires though?
Yeah.
they are.
The last I looked, the most recent WWE 2K was kind of like a fun trash fire. Just
Okay.
I don't know. The clips I saw, that was just ridiculous shit. So I don't know. People who are super into WWE wrestling are going to get it no matter what anyway. So
My other understanding is that the NBA games, I don't really play any sports games, so I haven't played them before.
Mhm.
But apparently, they're just great now.
They're
They're features for you build your team and you get your sponsors, and then you have to draft people, and it's just a really detailed version of team management
that
on
is
top of the game, and that sounds fun.
so all of that's true, but it is ruined by them trying to force microtransactions down your throat.
but that's also not unique to NBA 2K.
No, but it is very
Sports game world.
egregious.
Yes.
No, but it is by far the most egregious.
They make a whole lot of money doing what they do over there. So
Yeah. So this next game, hey, that's a survival game, eh? They put out this kid survival game.
it's people like their survival games.
I mean, this seems like one of those. Honestly, it doesn't seem like a survival game. I think that's a lie. I think it's lying in your face. This looks like an adventure game.
Solving puzzles.
That has collection mechanics. And I think it's gonna play everybody all four on screen, like an Overcooked. And
I hope so.
That it's literally like a complete a map via solving puzzles and gathering items and crafting things.
I
Survival
hope so.
kids.
Yeah. A nice more
Enter the
casual
gungeon.
survival. Into the gungeon. 2.
That's cool.
So, yep.
I've had Gungeon on my to play list for quite a long time because I love me a roguelike. And Gungeon is one of the best examples of one of those, from what I've been told.
Right. Yeah.
And then
what I
they
hear.
got this other game I don't know nothing about.
I don't know what's
It
going
looks
on in
kinda
this.
pretty.
It kind of feels just like children's No Man's Sky almost.
Could be.
The vibe
Is
I'm
it
getting from it?
Children's Risk of Rain? Is
Honestly,
it?
No, it feels like Survival Kids Space.
Might be. Yeah. Starseeker Astroneer Expeditions. We'll see, I guess we'll find out more. 2026 is a long time from now, so we'll
It's an
plenty of time to
digital
figure it
game.
out. Hey, dog, Cyberpunk 2077.
Hey, if you are one of the 5 people who has somehow escaped Cyberpunk, it's now coming to Switch 2.
Yep. So that's cool.
It will run.
It will.
I mean, it runs great on Steam Deck, and this thing's more powerful than a deck, so sure, why not?
I play Cyberpunk to push my computer to its absolute limits. When I bought a big expensive computer, the second game I put on it was Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a very scalable game. Like, yes, you have the best version of Cyberpunk, which is maxing it out on PC as hard as you can. But then it does scale down to deck pretty well and look good. So I imagine the Switch version will also look good. It includes Phantom Liberty.
Phantom Liberty's great.
Yes, if I did not own a Steam Deck, I would be freaking out about that release.
Yeah,
Thing on a portable, yeah, like that's so good.
Yeah.
So, and if you all have not played Cyberpunk yet, people listening to this, you absolutely should. It's amazing.
The FF Savars, the remarks,
The
remake.
remakes. Yep.
Yeah, remake Intergrade. Sure, why not?
You know, Yeah, there are people.
Uh,
Again, there are people who are
it's
just
a nice
getting the
looking game.
Switch and nothing else. So them getting a machine that gives them more access to all these games that people aren't playing
I mean, all
otherwise.
this is great for the Switch because it just means like this game has a hugely expanded library, like a massively expanded library, and it already didn't have a problem with that.
Right.
So, like, that's. Oh yeah, Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Silk Song
coming in
is
2023,
here.
just
It is
very
alive.
Briefly, it's only gigantic news that they just and it happened.
Just kind of throw it in here.
A new story of seasons.
2 Point Museum
that's
is
happening.
coming in, and Wild Hearts S. I want to know what's going on
That
here.
game's not dead. It's a Monster Hunter.
Hell
It's
yeah.
a Monster Hunter game that it didn't quite hit like Monster Hunter.
Right. Witchbrook
Puzzle
looks
Fighter.
interesting. Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Play
Rune Factory.
Tetris 2.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Marvel
You wanna talk
Cosmic
about party games
Invasion.
that piss all your friends off.
Yeah. Star Wars
Yeah,
Outlaws, sure.
Star Wars Outlaws, the game no one played.
I want to play Cosmic Invasion and Puyo Puyo Tetris with you two and Anthony so bad.
Sure.
So unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
Puyo Puyo
Nobunaga's
Tetris.
ambition.
Fast
Yeah,
Fusion
sure, why
for
not?
those of us who are still missing Wipeout. It's here.
Oh, Fast RMX was so good. I am so stoked for this.
Rhino Remastered. Shadow Labyrinth. From AI, the Somnium
So many
Files. No
games.
Sleep.
It's
Reanimal. Look
so
at that.
many games.
Look at that crazy thing. Just insane.
So much shit here.
This new
Fortnite,
game called
every other
Fortnite.
announcement doesn't matter. This brand new game called Fortnite.
Arcade Archives 2 Ridge Racer. That's fun. The new
Hey,
Professor Layton.
Red, you racer.
Yep.
New Professor Layton.
Tamagotchi
Professor Layton, that
Plaza.
was
Plaza.
Yeah,
You love your
Man.
mascot characters.
Professor Layton, that is a series I need to show off to my girlfriend. That is right up her
Yeah.
alley. That
Yeah,
is
it does.
detective video game based around puzzles.
Yep.
Yeah, that is 100% so she's into.
Come on. Let me tell me the next
Pause.
game is what I
Wait.
think it is. It is. All right. Let's talk about
Wait,
this.
Pause.
Pause. All right.
Before we get into this, all right, yo, how we feeling after all the third party stuff? I know you wanted to pause after each thing there.
It's such a great value proposition. Like they're adding so much value to the console
Mhm.
by putting all this stuff on it. For a casual consumer, especially one who doesn't like have the trifecta of consoles required to play everything, right? Because for people like us who gotta be able to play games on all the platforms, you need to have a Switch, a PlayStation or an Xbox, or is more a PlayStation because their Xbox has stopped doing its exclusives, and a PC.
Yep.
You have to have those three, and for the casual consumer, you're probably only gonna have one, and so this makes the Switch a really, really good pick amongst those three. Because there's so much stuff on it, and Nintendo by far runs the most exclusives in comparison to any other console. So if I was picking between one of those three options today, I'd probably still pick PC. But if I was even more casual, I would be a Switch guy for sure.
I also think that even amongst the hardcore audience, the Steam Deck is not for everyone. There is 10 million portable gaming PCs in the world, like the handheld PCs. I think for most people, the portability is a huge deal for these kind of games. I think that most people do not want to fuck with the problems that come with a portable PC.
Right.
I love mine. In fact, my Steam Deck kind of made a lot of these third-party announcements less impactful to me inherently.
Right.
But if you do not own a portable PC,
And I don't.
this seems and you're already buying it for Nintendo games. This seems incredible, especially because the flexibility to play on big screen versus portable. For me, as I get older, I am valuing it more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
what about you, Aaron?
There is quite a deal here. I think as we get into the news stories after this direct, there will be some feelings of some mixed feelings for sure. But it was a feeling I had throughout the direct itself of just like they are. I can see why they were going in with such confidence in terms of making the units all ahead of time and projecting high, because this has an air of confidence about it, and that's with what has been shown so far. This direct ain't done,
Yes.
and
Yes.
this next bit is one that I'm probably not going to touch, but I know a lot of people are. So let's go ahead and get into it.
I know someone who is buying the Switch 2 for this game and for the GameCube stuff. Those are the two reasons. Nothing else.
Someone in the call.
Yes. Yes.
You? Okay, I was referring to a friend of mine.
There's a number of people that are going to be getting the Switch 2 just for those things, that are part of our group. I was not expecting this at all.
No, this was completely out of left field. I
don't think anyone was expecting Bloodborne 2 at a Nintendo event.
Yeah, it's fucking Bloodborne 2 at the Sony exclusive. They said, "Hey, change that name for us.
Mm-hmm.
Change that name for us. Make that Dusk Blood. Don't change anything else.
Yep.
Keep it exactly the same otherwise." Now,
apparently it's gonna have a PvE focus, like it's gonna be multiplayer as well.
Yeah. This, from what I've heard about it, the impression I'm getting is almost kind of Elden Ring Night Rainy.
Right.
Where, it's gonna have this PvE focus. I think maybe not with the random generation. We're gonna have to wait for more details until we really know the extent to which it is. But they've multiplayer has been specifically pointed out as like part of the deal with this game, and that is confusing. Otherwise, this is just Bloodborne 2. This is like really clearly a Bloodborne game in every way.
So okay, I have had a long time struggle with trying to get into these games, and I can't. But it feels like as time has gone on, they've done what they could to try and get me into them.
Right.
Elden Ring was just like a ridiculous amount of options and ways to go about defeating bosses and stuff. I feel like this is yet again another effort of like, we are pushing you to play this co-op. You are going to get your friends who enjoy these games together with you, and we are going to force you to enjoy these games because you'll have someone who can help you get through this shit.
The most enjoyable version of the Elden Ring experience, if you ever want to try and go through it, it's to get someone who's played it before,
right,
and add the Elden Ring co-op mod that makes the game fully co-op. Absolutely changes the game. It's much better.
Yeah.
See, even without that mod, though, in Elden Ring's case, it's like, if you want the easiest possible Elden Ring experience, just look up, like, magic or summoning build and follow it to a T, and you will blow through that game like a god.
I mean,
especially once you're out of early game.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
It certainly makes the game easier, but I think that for someone who's not already familiar, it's still going to feel like a big leap to to go,
I see that.
Yeah, I'm going to look up an optimal build and then follow that, right? Whereas they're just like, I don't know, I want to play the game. If I have to go externally and like look things up and prepare myself, that's maybe not,
I'm one of those people who does not want to look that shit up. I'm someone who wants to jump into the game and play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like that's gonna be harder then.
And it especially did not help when I did Elden Ring. I got it day one, jumped in, and part of the fun of that is everyone's trying to figure things out and discovering things, and
you're behind the curve on that because you're like, I don't
that was not a good time for me. I put in 70 hours and like, this game just is not for me. And now I downloaded an easy mode mod. It was like, great, this will be fantastic for me. And I jumped back in and I just felt the weight of 70 hours of frustration. I was like, I can't I can't go back to this game
Yeah.
anymore. It's one of the most beautiful, most well put together, complete video games ever made, and I can't enjoy it. It's forever tainted for me. So
I have another buddy who hates Elden Ring. My friend
Is
Logan.
it Ray?
No, Ray.
Oh.
He's never told me anything about Elden Ring.
He doesn't care for it.
My buddy Logan hates it, and he's also 100%ed it.
wow.
He's been a big Souls game guy, and for the entire series, his favorite game's like Sekiro, and he despises Elden Ring, for like a lot of reasons. He doesn't like the open world. He doesn't like the repetition of a lot of bosses. He thinks a lot of the enemies are designed worse than they are in other games, especially because Sekiro has this level of it has this lack of customizability that makes it so you can design the bosses to be more specific to the player's capabilities, right? Because you know that every player is going to have the exact same tool set going in. An issue that comes about with designing games like this, like a Bloodborne, like a Dark Souls, is that there's a massive number of builds that anyone could be walking through the fog gate with and starting their fight with, and all of them have to be theoretically able to beat a fight, right? Sekiro doesn't have this issue. Everyone is coming into every Sekiro boss fight with the exact same tool set, which meant that they were able to do a lot more interesting things and make some fights that were a lot more challenging. Now, it's not the most challenging they've ever been. Obviously, the final boss of Elden Ring's DLC is the most challenging thing FromSoft has ever made, bar none. It's ridiculous. But that, going from that into Elden Ring, and the level of, I think, flatness that a lot of the bosses have to account for that build variety, made him also hate the game. So not even just from a new person's perspective can the game be soured on you, but also someone who's played all of them, especially given how much it feels like tiny little nothings there is to go grab around the map. His first playthrough was 160 hours to reach the final boss, and then he refused to defeat the final boss
So
out of principle.
Okay.
I am someone who thinks their best games were 2015 and 2016, which are Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
I think that I don't like Sekiro. I find many parts of Sekiro to be grating as hell. Did not particularly like Elden Ring. I kind of have mixed feelings on and feel I haven't played enough. I'm only like 12 hours into it. The side of it is
Sekiro and my save corrupted.
Oh.
and that I find that Elden Ring for me, at least so far, has been very daunting just due to the scale of it. So like out of those games, like I'm just sitting here going like please just make more Bloodborne. That's what I want from you.
Yeah. Definitely want more Bloodborne. I'll say that Elden Ring, and I think this might be true of all FromSoft games, they're way better on a second playthrough, but Elden Ring especially is way better on a second playthrough because the familiarity that you gain with the game, and with like, all right, this is the kind of build I want, right? I want to be strong guy, I want to be faith guy, and knowing where the things you want are, the game goes from a 140-hour first playthrough, which is what my first playthrough was, to I think the last full playthrough I did of the game was 15.
This goes to my point about Elden Ring. The best way to play Elden Ring, if you're not someone who like gets a lot of joy from discovery, then just have a guide open.
Well, right.
If you're the type of person who like you genuinely enjoy the sense of discovery in an open world game, then yeah, it's gonna be 140 hours, and you're probably gonna really enjoy the second one more. But
the reason I love Elden Ring so much is because I am like factory made to love that game. Because I'm the guy that goes and gets ridiculously overpowered really early in a game and then flattens it, like I dropped an anvil from space. And Elden Ring 100% lets you do that. Elden Ring lets you completely max out a weapon before fighting a single boss, and then you can go and farm souls after fighting one boss. Just any of the great runes, if you get one of them, the fastest soul farm in the game gets unlocked, and you can immediately grind up to like level 250, and then run the rest of the game as a completely optimized build from the start. And that's exactly what I do. And I come in to every fight with the greatsword at +10, and then I go, hey, bonk, and then half kill almost every boss up until the end game.
See, I am the exact opposite person. And I actually got to see this in action when Leigh and I were living together, because we would play through Bloodborne together. And the way I play is very much, I just kind of progress naturally. Like, I'll do some side content, but I just mostly just go and do the bosses. So, like, Leigh at every boss fight was like 10 to 15 levels above me.
Yeah.
Our entire time running through that game. So I would kill a boss, he would kill a boss. I would kill a boss, he would kill a boss. I would kill a boss, he would kill a boss. And the entire time he's like 10 levels above me, because he does exactly what you do. I am very much so. For me, the best experience with all of these games was Bloodborne, because it rewards aggressive behavior.
It really does.
It rewards, yo dog, you good at getting in someone's face and dodging, you know? So yeah, like, that's been the peak for me. Yeah, no, this looks great. I'm curious to see what their gameplay gimmick with it will be, though.
I'm mostly
That's-
happy just because the aesthetic is coming back. I liked their take on, cosmic horror. I liked
Yes,
that.
it's real
I
good.
thought it was
It's
really
really good.
fitting for the kind of gameplay they have. And I mean, it was so good that I own a PS4 that has nothing but Bloodborne and Yakuza on it.
Yeah.
Yo dog, Kirby Air Ride, though.
Kirby do be riding on that air.
Are you expecting this?
Yeah, that
Yep.
they let Sakurai out. They let him out. He's no longer in
they
Smash
didn't let him
Brothers
out.
jail.
They tore him out. He went into his retirement cocoon, into his YouTube channel, and then they said, "Hold on," dug their arm deep into his cocoon and tore him from it, and said, "Stop making YouTube videos. Get back on Kirby."
I mean, at least it's not Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave him
at least
a little bit of refreshment.
At least he's not in Smash Brothers jail. No, to be
Yeah.
fair, after Smash Ultimate, where do you go, right? Where do you take that?
They're figuring it
Right.
out
You know.
the same way they figured out with Mario Kart. They're in laboratories somewhere.
Somewhere
really
there
close
is a
to Smash
Nintendo
Ultimate.
laboratory where they're like, I still say that idea that we thought of Smash Royale
Right.
is like peak.
Yeah.
That is peak.
Wait. Let me guess what it is before you say it. Is it a really, really, really big map with 100 people on it, and you battle royale, but it's Smash?
Actually, no. So what it is this Super Smash Brothers, where you get, like, let's say 5 stocks, and you fight 100 people 3 at a time who have who start at like 50% already. So you have to fight. So, and then if one of them drops you, they become the new guy with a new set of stocks.
Juggernaut. It's Halo Custom Games Juggernaut, but for Smash.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Fuck yeah, dude. I think that'd be sick.
We got 2 racers, Mario Kart and Kirby Air Riders, and F-Zero gets the GameCube port.
Yeah. God, Masahiro Sakurai.
Weep. I weep. I get sad about this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go die.
He makes games with his blood,
Yes.
and he's running out of blood.
You don't know that. You don't know how. We don't know the conversion rate. Like how
we don't
potent is
know
his
how
blood.
much orange juice he's drank to create new
One
blood.
man can
We don't know.
only have 4 quarts of blood in his body at any given time.
Yes, but how much does he generate?
How much does he generate? That's true.
It's been 6 years since the last game. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
How much
Alright.
blood does one YouTube video give Sakurai? That's the real question.
What is this? I forgot what this is.
Hi.
See a crystal with
This is
eyes on
Donkey
it.
King.
That's
bro.
right. They got the new. People are like thinking like Banjo Kazooie. No.
Like,
I am-
have the HD Super
Oh,
Danky.
fuck it. I'm so ready for this. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Did you see this? Did you watch the treehouse? He can terraform.
Oh God. Okay.
He can terraform. He can change the environment.
Yeah, you'll see.
But can
He
he
can
build a
tell-
He has a
cart?
construction hat.
He cannot build a cart. He can use a cart.
No,
He can
no
use a
nuts
mine.
and or bolts.
No, he has
Okay.
pants now though.
His pants. It's interesting.
Yeah.
The true
The
evolution
real-
of Donkey Kong.
People are thinking it's the Mario Odyssey team working on this, but yeah, check this out. Hold on, yeah, like
It looks like.
yeah, he
that's
did.
sick.
That's pretty cool.
Terraforming the world. Apparently, you can
Looks like
terraform
Odyssey.
all ground to find secrets.
That's what it looks like.
Like you can pull up a level. Like if you trap yourself when terraforming, you can like fully reset the level with a button press.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So like
it seems like they have reinvented Donkey Kong.
dude, I'm so
Yeah.
ready for this. The music in that trailer looked sick. All the gameplay
look
stuff
incredible.
here.
Got
It
some
also
classic
looks like
stuff.
I'm
Like-
probably not going to play it, but I will enjoy watching YouTube videos on it.
Sure.
Like a review I'll do about it.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Um,
I'm gonna watch a video of can you dig out an entire level where a guy digs out an entire level and goes, man, you could dig out most of this level.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. This looks good.
Just
Yeah.
on July. It's like a month from the launch.
That's amazing.
Damn,
Launch window.
that's crazy. Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Bonanza.
Because he wants a banana.
Bonanza.
Bonanza.
Wait, he's
Honey.
naked. The fact
Now
that
he's
he
naked
wears
now.
pants now means that when he doesn't wear pants, it's sexual.
There must be. He just wants pockets. That's all this is about.
Called Donkey Kong
I will say that this game is only $70 though.
Smash through enemies, walls,
He doesn't need any more pockets. He has nature's pocket.
just about
He sure
everything.
does.
Monsters through a massive hole.
Only 70 is where we're at now after one Nintendo
Hmm.
Direct.
Thank you for watching
Yep,
so far.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yep. That's
Where
where
we're
we're at. We finally reached the end. That was it.
Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah. So
Only an
before we
hour
get
and a
into the
half.
other news stories
Uh-huh.
about price,
Mm-hmm.
we already know this show's gonna run long, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
This is a special event.
Special events. So
If you just watched that direct, how would you feel about buying a Switch 2?
I'd feel great.
if I only watched
Yeah,
that direct,
wait.
yeah, sold.
Yeah, like I came out of that thing on what was it, Tuesday or Wednesday, after I'm watching it on my lunch, being like, "Shut up and take my money."
Yep.
I think, hear me out. I think if it was just that direct and there was no accompanying bad news, possibly the best-selling console launch of all time.
You know, there's a case there.
It's got so much going for it.
Yeah.
If it was this is a $400 console, and then this direct comes out, I think it outsells the Switch One. I think it outsells everything they've ever put out.
But it's not. It is as
But it's not.
the price got out there shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
And it is $450.
Yep.
This is
That's
$50. And the games are 80.
Mhm.
Or as some games are 80. So the way they are structuring this, similar to how at the end of the Switch Life, premium games like Tears of the Kingdom were 70 and most games were 60. It seems like they're doing a similar thing here, where what they consider a premium game is going to be 80, and most other games are going to be 70.
Not only that,
That seems
physical copies for those games will in some cases be 90.
not true. That
Really?
was a rumor that has not been confirmed, and it was just somebody converting EU prices. So we don't know yet.
Right.
On that,
It was a leaked listing for Donkey Kong at 90 euros.
Yes.
But for only the physical copy. So we don't
Yeah,
actually have information that would be the case in America. However, I think it's actually reasonable that could happen.
By the end of this podcast, maybe.
So GameStop actually does have North American prices up.
Okay.
And physical copies are 80 for Mario Kart, 70 for Donkey Kong.
All right.
That's good.
We'll see.
Yeah. Unless something changes.
Yep.
So that's at least what we have now.
Yeah.
But so those are prices, 70 to 80. In the case of Bravely Default, 40. Weirdly enough. So I think 450 for the console isn't that bad, man.
450 is doable. It's the $80 games that I think is annoying.
Yes, I think that's what most people are upset about is $80 games.
Yeah. But 450 for what that console's doing is fine.
Yeah, like I was expecting 400, but they built in an extra $50 because of possible tariffs.
Yeah.
Those just ended up being way worse than they probably expected. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep.
But those price announcements leads us into our first story. Nintendo Switch 2 Treehouse live stream is just a flood of angry comments shouting, "Drop the price."
Yeah, it sure was.
Really mad about the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tuned into that on my second monitor while doing stuff, and I would just like pop over and look at the chat, and man, they're still screaming about this, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nintendo's
like,
not addressed any of the comments about pricing. They're keeping tight-lipped on it, but gamers have always been really mad when you say make the game more expensive. People were really mad when I feel the first games that were coming out at 70 were coming out. There's a lot of games that got a lot of backlash just for having the $70 price tag.
People still bought them though.
People still bought them though. And so I think this is probably a lot of empty blustering again. Justified. It sucks that these games are $80. But I also am, what Pokemon comes out and it's $80, I'm not going to buy Pokemon.
Right.
Not going to happen.
I don't know, man. I think that games did not raise in price for, from 2006 to 2020. Right? Yeah. I think that games did not go up in price. They went up in price once in 2020. But since 2020, we had batshit insane inflation.
No.
And, well, maybe that is part of why this is happening,
But there's also, I just want to point out, like, we have talked about how a lot of the game industry has gotten their money back and more with microtransactions and other things like that. But Nintendo isn't really a huge part of that.
Yeah, like Nintendo, and when Nintendo does DLC, you get a lot of shit.
It's usually a good value.
Like that, yeah, like that Mario Kart DLC was 48 tracks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo has always been on, I think, the more morally justifiable side of the monetization scheme. They do a lot of, hey, we're selling amiibos, hey, we're selling extra merchandise. They really, really, really rely on IP recognition and brand popularity, right? Mario
Games.
makes money not just because of its games. It makes money because fucking Mario. It's all over the place. There's a million things. The only place they're really bad about it is in the mobile sphere. Like on smartphones, their smartphone games are pretty much microtransaction heavy.
Mm.
And that's usually because they outsource it to another developer, and they just go, all right, I guess take our IP and make us money. And they do that with microtransactions. So it's like, if anyone's gonna make the jump up to $80, the people I'm least mad about doing it is Nintendo. But the industry doesn't work pleasantly, that like the people who earn it get to do it. It's like drinking. You go to the bathroom, you break the seal, and it's gonna happen over and over from now on. If $80 Switch games come out and people buy them, everyone's gonna go, okay, you can sell games for $80 now.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that, a lot of other publishers don't deserve that, because they have these deluxe editions that are already $80 that are just cosmetic DLC. And you have like Yakuza Infinite Wealth being like, you miss out on 2 jobs in the job system if you don't get the deluxe edition, and things of that nature. Like, Mario Kart's going to be a fully featured game and not have any of these issues. I think that what my hope is that if that's what it takes and Nintendo's games usually come out polished and finished and run well. So I don't think $80 games are bad in the sense if the industry behaves the way Nintendo does, where you get a finished product that runs well with plenty of content. The problem is I don't think they're going to do that. I think that most of the industry is going to be what EA and Activision is, but now it's $80.
Right.
Yeah, like the new Mass Effect game is going to come out, and it's going to be. I mean, I don't know if it comes out in 2025, but when it does, it's going to come out like 60% done, and it's going to be $80 and filled with microtransactions and day one DLC. And like, I don't know, I mean, Mass Effect 3 added the most important character in the lore's history as a day one DLC. Like,
yeah, that was gross. That was Mass Effect 3 Javik.
Yeah. Like the story. So I played my first playthrough of that game without that character. It like didn't make a lot of sense. And and that's the sort of behavior that will also still go for $80.
Yes. So, and here is my question to the people upset about this in our chat, and everyone here is like, is $80 worth it if you're getting a product that is finished, well made, has plenty of content?
I mean, for me personally, the what's playing in my mind with this is like, at the end of the day, for someone like me, it's not a question of do they deserve it. It's can I? Can I, on the consumer end, support this? And for Mario Kart, yes. For Donkey Kong, I don't know. I don't think it's in the cards for me.
Same.
Like, I'm glad that game exists. I want more of those games to come out at that level, and reinventing some beloved IP and all that fun stuff. But I just, my money can only go in so many places.
Yeah, the burden to make a good game is much higher now for them.
I also think on the consumer end, people are going to take less risks, like Aaron mentioned. Like, if there's a chance that someone $70 games are already pushing it for a lot of people. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in my case, I'm already taking less risks at $70. Right. So at $80, if I'll totally buy Mario Kart. I'd even buy Donkey Kong for $80. But like, if I see a game that's kind of like, I'm not sure if I'm interested in it, and it's $80, I just won't buy it, or I'll wait for a price drop. That's just how it is.
It's a Pokemon, it's a Mario Kart, it's it's a big release that I will definitely get a lot of enjoyment out of. But there's Mass Effect comes out, I'm not gonna buy that at $80.
Right.
No, absolutely not. Like, I will buy Grand Theft Auto 6 at $80. I will not buy any of the sports games or Star Wars games or Call of Duty at $80.
Yeah.
What do you think of
just
what do you think of the conversation now, like after this direct? Like GTA's 100, right?
probably.
Oh God.
Probably. There's already been rumors of that. Like,
Well, right.
possible.
Well, so the news that we covered was like the industry, people in the industry, which, you know, for people who are reporting news, that could be like two people, but one of them's a games industry analyst who put out a giant article saying some people are saying that hey, GTA 6 should be $100, and now this direct or not, and the news around it and all that, just like that makes that a lot easier for those people to try and like, all right, we should probably do that. If there's a game to get away with it, it's this one.
If you look at inflation in the past 13 years since GTA 5 came out, to make the same like dollar cost per copy, you're gonna have to, I think inflation's been like almost like 40-50% in that period of time.
Yep.
So you're gonna be selling a $60 game at 90 to be getting the same profit margin per copy, and I think they've spent like quadruple the money on making this game. So
yeah, well more. I think that in GTA 6's case, I think GTA 5 had a budget of 265 million.
Oh, it was? Okay, I thought it was 500.
Yeah, so no, you're thinking I think Red Dead. Cyberpunk was 500 million all told. But in this, so that would be almost 10x the budget, right?
Yeah.
Am I right on that? Yeah, so like that's 2 billion. I think that GTA is such an outlier though.
It is.
Like it is such a massive fucking outlier that it actually kind of pisses me off that it's going to set a bunch of bad precedent. Because it's
let me hot take here on GTA. $50.
Yeah.
Because they're going to sell so many copies.
They're going to sell so many copies, and they're going to make it all back on the back end when the shark cards come out.
Shark cards, GTA Online.
And they're going to go, wait a minute, who fucking cares how many copies this thing sells when we make $200 per consumer on average on fucking shark cards? Get them in the game. Just get them in the game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that would be a way to go about it. I just think GTA just as a franchise is it's a popular franchise. It's a very good game. You could play GTA and have that be like one of your 3 games over years and be fine. And because of that, there's just no reason to drop the price at all.
Yeah, like you have to think that GTA 5 is the second best selling game ever. You know, part of that is because it's been out so damn long. But they think they can get the same amount of copies sold with 6 over that same amount of time. You know, so I think that when you factor that in with 6, you're like, I mean, why not do $80 then? Especially because when we cut price, instead of being $30, it'll be $40. You know, so and GTA is so big they can do that. The thing is like, how many games are Grand Theft Auto? It's a small amount. Probably whatever CD Pro.
Well, so that's the question though. Is publishers are going, or whoever's in charge of the price for these games are going to be like, yeah, we're totally Grand Theft Auto. We're definitely Grand Theft Auto level. And then
and delusion is a hell of a drug, and I think that's going to affect sales and make the industry shrink as a whole.
Yes.
I think that what is going to happen is, if they're smart about it, I think having different pricing tiers for different games makes complete sense.
Sure.
I think GTA being $100, fucking yeah, that makes sense. I think that Madden should be $40.
Right. The title, it's you know, small updates over a game that is largely the same year to year.
Yeah, I think that, you know, and so I think that games should not have a fixed pricing structure. I think it's actually really bad for the industry as a whole.
It's just it's about what they think It's about the people making the game and setting the price, what they think their game is worth is always a good, like, I wonder. It's going to be fun because we are now reaching those levels of game prices where it's like, I'm going to have to make decisions, not even based on whether the game's good or not. It's like, I have to split my time between the games that I think are good and that I enjoy specifically my tastes. You know, I know Donkey Kong's a good game. I'm probably not going to get it for a good long time, if ever. So that's just what it is. And so it'll be very interesting to see like someone come out. I could see them making a brand new big Assassin's Creed game and they're like $90.
Yeah, I can totally see Ubisoft doing that. Just like I think that like if I'm Nintendo, the next Zelda game is going to be an $80 game. Like Tears of the Kingdom 2 or whatever it is, like yeah, it's going to be an $80 game.
Sure.
But if I was also Nintendo, the next Mario Wonder, I'd be like, yeah, $50. You know, like I think that having a variable price structure is fine.
That's fine, but like, again, it's about going up.
I think that you should make certain products go down. That's the thing, though, is like I don't think that publishers are going to do that in most cases, and that's unfortunate. I think that eventually it's just going to give way because if every game is $80, like let's say that's what happens, because that's what happens when this comes around. It's just going to lead to more people being like, "No, I'm good. I'm going to play old games.
Yeah,
I'm going to go play, you know." Like some games I am fine being $80. Yeah. Like it just depends on what game you're referring to.
It's just funny. It feels like it's adding to the problem of like there's going to be fewer and fewer games getting more and more players because I only have so much money. I'm going to be doing Mario Kart and then Fortnite and then just great, did it.
Yeah, like I and we already saw it was $70, right? Like.
I mean, each game needs to be more of a time vampire than it was prior to justify the $70 price cost. It needs to be a bigger, more consuming experience. We need
which that causes development prices to balloon.
Yeah, we need larger, more gluttonous frogs within this swamp to eat more of the bugs.
Oh man, yeah. All right, let's
just it's
yeah.
You know,
next story, though, is that wasn't enough. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Our next story is Japan doesn't have it as bad because they will sell a cheaper 330 USD Switch 2 that is Japan region locked.
Is that the next one?
Oh, never mind. I clicked in the wrong order. Nintendo delays Switch 2 pre-orders in the US due to Trump tariffs.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, so a lot of people speculate that was a lot of people speculate that the $450 price, that extra $50, was them anticipating tariffs. They could not have anticipated how insane these tariffs were. So as such, Nintendo has to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate.
Yeah.
Basically maybe is what happened here.
Yeah, so
so the thing is that the Switch, its manufacturing cost is I believe like $256, and it's primarily made in the Switch 2. Its manufacturing cost is like $256. It's primarily made in Vietnam and Cambodia. So those two places have gotten a 46 and 49% tariff respectively, and that's so much. If you're going off of the cost, it adds another $150.
Yep,
and $150 extra is crazy.
$600 Switch 2, baby.
Yeah, just straight up to $600. Reasonably, if the tariff price is not going off of the constructed value of a Switch 2, but the retail value of the Switch 2, which it more likely is, it's $650. Goes up $200.
Yeah.
So it's just a massive shot to the viability of purchasing the console if the price update is what the tariffs would imply. There is evidently some preparation based on the actions of the prior Trump administration by Nintendo in moving from China to Vietnam and Cambodia. There was an obvious on the wind trade war with China, so it was, theoretically a good move to Vietnam and Cambodia. You just can't have predicted that there would have been a quote unquote reciprocal tariff set to these countries that isn't actually a reciprocal tariff. It's a calculation tariff based off of the trade deficit we have with the countries in question. It is a percentage calculation to equalize the trade deficit. Because Trump wants no trade deficit with any other nation. He wants to just be trade positive with everybody, which is both not going to happen because of reciprocal tariffs that will happen as a consequence of this. But regardless, it's just completely unpredictable. There's no conceivable scenario where Nintendo could have ever been, we're going to have a near 50% price increase on our imports of these items. And that, $650, I don't know if I can buy a Switch 2 at $650 in 2 months. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I don't know.
I can. I don't like it, but I can.
Mm-hmm.
That said, man, I think Nintendo's just gonna have to eat it. I think maybe do another $50, but I think that the US is their biggest market by far for the Switch 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much of an important space for them to where they can't afford to price themselves out. This might be the first time since ever that they'll have to sell at a loss.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to suck it up. I think that's realistically.
If they don't increase the price, even if they increase the price $50, they're still selling at a loss. Right?
Yeah, like then they are going to have to do the old Sony thing of all right,
PS3 scenario.
It. Yeah, like it's just like we'll have to make it up on services and software. And I think what realistically could happen with that then is them just upping the price of NSO or something like that.
Which they could.
I think that that's
for especially American audiences, there's room for that.
Yeah, like I think $50 is actually really cheap for what they offer with NSO. So I think that it would suck. I wouldn't be happy about it.
Of course not.
But
there's a series of approaches they could take, right? Like you said, NSO is certainly an option. They could also adjust their developer price cut, basically justifying that devs they're not affected by tariffs. They're not affected by tariffs because it's a digital good, so it's not being transported, which means it never goes through a tariff. And that means that they could take more of the overall profit of games. That'd be a really hard thing to push through, but that's one of the economically viable options. And they could also theoretically, I think it's really unlikely given the backlash that $80 has already had, but increasing the price of games even more than $80 could also theoretically make up that difference. It's just really unlikely that consumer sentiment will allow that. And then the other option is just fucking run it $650. And
I think that is such a bad idea.
Well, okay. Sorry, even beyond $650, there's another option beyond that. That is $650 is what gets us the same profit margin, right? That's how if they move it up to $650, they're making the same amount of money than they would have before, but they're making less on sales. They know that fewer people are going to buy it at $650, so they could find the price that people that are willing to pay $650 are actually willing to pay. Because realistically, if you're willing to pay $650 for a Switch, you might be willing to pay $750 for a Switch.
I think that's a bad idea with how mass market the first Switch was.
Well, that's the
And I
thing.
think
They've got nothing but bad options available to
That's
them,
the thing,
right?
yeah.
so here
we're talking
here
about the
is
bad ideas. It's all bad ideas. They have to pick one.
okay. So this is the one I would go with. You're riding high on Switch One. You have a lot of goodwill from Switch One.
Yeah.
The bill of goods on this thing is $250, 26% tariff. You hear the prices where they are. You suck it up. You get your $50 loss on.
Yeah.
Fine. You take your $50 loss. You assume that they're going to buy a game or NSO or something along those lines to just the deal, right?
Mhm.
And then what I do is I lower the price of digital games down to 70 in the case of Mario Kart, which I know that sounds fucking crazy, but stick with me. And then I increase the price of physical games. Just get everyone onto digital, so you're not getting the retailer margin taken from you, even more so. So you're just like, and you advertise the shit out of that. You go, hey, if you're buying your games at Walmart or wherever, fuck that, download them. Download them, download them, download them.
I mean, the question is, what percentage of people are engaging in physical games in the first place nowadays?
That's a
I don't know.
good question.
I don't know if that will be enough.
But hold on. And then, so you have that. And then for the people who are committed to physical Switch games, you up the price of that and you up the price of NSO. Like, those are the two things you do. You move NSO up to 80, which still makes it way cheaper than its competition. You move the base plan up to
just a quick
40.
look up. Physical games make up now only 4.6% of the market.
Yeah, but how much for Switch, though? That's what we're looking for.
I mean, to the point where if it's 4.6% globally of the market, even if Switch is double that at 10%, that is lowering to 70 and increasing those to 90 or even 100 can't conceivably make up the profit variability.
So I pulled up the Switch numbers actually while you were talking. 53% of Switch games are purchased digitally. Switch has a real big margin of people who still are on physical.
That's a lot.
So
bigger.
yeah, that's a lot bigger for them.
It obviously shrinks,
I am sure,
but if they made that move, but they could do that, I don't think.
They're definitely incentivized to make people go to digital.
So I mean, so what's sitting in my head right now is who at Nintendo is like, this is going to hurt our short-term profits, and despite the fact this is the best idea of all our bad options, this will impact the short-term profits. I can't allow this.
Well, they're historically a more resistant company to that, both because of just the structure that Japanese companies have in comparison to other countries, and because they I think they don't have the issue of having like a major investor that like they have some of the largest cash flow of like any company in the world. They have an insane amount of cash that they've specifically prepared for rough times like this. So they're in a situation where they don't have to worry about short-term profits nearly as much as almost any other games industry company that exists, which is part of why their brand has been so long-term beloved, is because they continue to just make good games. Even when the Wii U was a massive failure, they were making good games for the Wii U because they had so much money that they could weather the storm that was the massive failure of the Year of Luigi. So they are likely to make an overall consumer friendly decision here, but you got to understand that the more of a negative this sells at it, given how successful this console is expected to be, the more of a negative it sells at, the more of a massive impact financially that's going to have on them. And it's
economies of scale working against you in that point.
Yeah. It's the fact of the matter is that it kind of sucks for them that this is a great console coming during this period of time, because like when the number gets too high for how much of a hit that's going to be to your profits, even a company like Nintendo that is as well prepared for a bad year can get to the point where they're going to be making a decision that's like, sorry guys, it just needs to be $650.
I think that at worst, if I'm them, I just say screw it. We'll just break even. We won't make a profit on it. We'll just break even.
Their behavior right now indicates there's really not much of a reason to delay the switch to pre-orders unless you are like updating the price. That's really like the only thing that explains the behavior they're engaging in. It's either that or they're waiting for the tariffs to be dropped,
Right.
which to be fair has happened the last 2 times.
Yeah.
They were dropped within a month or delayed within a month. Now the Nintendo Switch already has hundreds of thousands of consoles in the US.
Yes.
They have a bit, like, it's not going to be selling everything at a loss, which can also mean that they don't have to go to 650. They could go, okay, well, we can get the extra profit margin at 600 because of these consoles we already have. They could be just delaying the release in the US until there's a pause on the tariffs, which has again happened in the other situations. There's been 30-day delays or something on a lot of the tariffs, and they could be going, okay, well, maybe we'll wait for a 30-day delay and then import all the consoles they can during that period of time, and then they can sell at price, and we will inevitably end up dealing with a bunch of stock running out. Even though they prepared specifically for it, they could not adjust the price at all and just have very little stock in the US also.
I mean, that is also a possibility. I think that in this case, like, supposedly Vietnam, where they're being manufactured, is already in talks with the US. You know, like they April 9th is when the implementation of tariffs are supposed to go into effect for Vietnam. Vietnam has a 46% tariff on it. And they're currently, they immediately are asking for a 45-day delay and to come to the table and talk about a 0% tariff.
If
in exchange for Vietnam,
get a 45-day delay, you can likely move the majority of the Switch's stock intended for the US into the US in that period of time, which could mean not increasing the price, but it also means still that they won't be updating stock like after they go out of their initial run. That's it for probably a while.
I think that shit, no matter what you have to do, I think just to break even on it, so that means $500 Switch too, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the reality of it. It's like yeah, like okay, fine, bill of goods plus 46%.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring this into our next story. Nintendo, the one I
Yes.
Nintendo will sell a cheaper $330 Switch in hand that is regional. So this is making very little money for them, right? Like I said, the manufacturing cost is like $256 USD. So selling a $330 USD console in Japan, that's not a lot of money. But they know that the Japanese consumer doesn't care about region locking. It was mostly international consumers that were really mad about region locking, and it used to primarily be an issue because physical copies of Japanese games would be unusable in other countries, and vice versa. So that was lame. That's not a problem anymore because games have a language option now. That's a really common feature if you're releasing internationally. So they're thinking we just go back to arbitrarily region locking so that we can sell this at a much lower price because Japan has no money right now. There's an insane amount of inflation going on there, and their currency is at like an all-time high. It's really bad. And so that they were already intending to sell probably at or close to a loss in the Japanese market. And the US market was probably a thing they were relying on to be able to do this, right? They were probably going, the US market is going to make us so much more money off of the margin we'll make there that we can afford to maintain our Japanese dominance, which is a huge thing for them. They have an insane amount of dominance over the Japanese market, which means they know that they're going to make that back digitally on those games. They're going to make that back on video game sales. And so, you know, they were in a position where they thought that they could do this, and that might have fucked with that. They haven't announced any pauses in Japan, of course, but they're in a tight spot clearly, because of the fact they were going to sell to a market of 50 million people at a reduced price. They've just lost the profit margin that they previously were going to have on a market of 350 million. That sucks for them. It's really bad.
It's, yeah, this is something to keep an eye on.
Man, what if I buy a Japanese Switch 2 though?
This would be a good way to learn Japanese, right?
Duolingo put out an ad about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm planning to go to Japan in like October, and I could just pick up a cheeky little Switch 2 while I'm there.
You could.
$30. I speak Japanese. I need to get better at reading.
Yeah.
So like,
can't think of a better way to do it. 100%.
Yeah. And their games are cheaper, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So something to consider.
Go with God.
Yeah. Mind you, actually, still worth it. Another bit there, still worth it to go to Japan and buy a Switch 2. They have a non-region locked version for sale in Japan, and it's 467 USD.
Right.
Which means
so
I can just be a smuggler, go to Japan, buy like 20 of these, come back, sell them for cheaper than Nintendo sells them in America, and still make money.
So I'm telling you right now, there's probably people have tried this in other countries. They may ask you, yo dog, why you bring in all these into the country without paying tariffs. So
they're my Switches. I run an internet cafe.
Here's my 20 Switches.
This is what? Well, I'm going on my pirate boat. I'm going on my pirate boat.
There you go.
And it's yar, I don't be doing any smuggling. Yar.
These Switches are legal in international waters.
I personally play all 20 of these games.
Shiny hunting is a lot more efficient this way, believe me. Trust me on this.
I need a Pokemon with a slightly different color palette.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, how about some positive news for Switch 2 a little bit? Eh?
Yeah, let's do that. Do that. I like that.
Hey, third-party devs are pretty happy with the power of the Switch 2. So that's good. And we saw a little bit of that confidence in the presentation itself.
But the Civilization team, the Hogwarts Legacy team, they've both been just going off about how great it has been to put this game on Switch 2.
Yeah.
It's, as strong as its console contemporaries, and they've already released ports for those, and Hogwarts Legacy specifically, they mentioned that they had a lot. It started on their Switch port. They've been working on a Switch port for quite a while, and they were making a lot of concessions for the sake of that Switch port, such as major load times in areas that were previously completely smooth to walk through. And the Switch 2 has enough power to just not have that problem. And so, and the Civ team, of course, the mouse support is huge for them, but also just like that game running its calculations probably wouldn't have even worked on the Switch for Civ 7. So, actually, Civ 7, I think it's getting a Switch port also. So it might be, I think it's on both.
It is.
Oh.
Switch 7 is on Switch 1. It's just it probably is not a great port, would be my assumption. But Switch 2, it probably runs great.
They've been really
they specifically say it's like they were excited about the horsepower and were extremely happy in that quote from the Civ team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's good. And that their whole Nintendo Direct clearly showed that a lot of developers have been like, yeah, I'm gonna put my games on Switch. We're gonna put Borderlands 4 on there because it's not we are no longer in the era of the Switch being the game you need, the thing you need to develop around because it has the super tiny horsepower. It can release like a modern console now, so they can just put their games on Switch at the same time they put it on other things, and that's really good for Nintendo because they have not been in that position previously, I think, ever.
No, the GameCube was more powerful than the PS2.
Damn. And nobody bought that thing.
Yep, it's that was a marketing issue and a lack of DVD functionalities, but killed that damn thing.
Yeah.
But
that's a long time ago. And speaking of the GameCube.
Speaking of the GameCube.
Yeah, they announced their launch games there.
That's right, they did.
Yeah.
They got the full list out because we got a peek of that in the Direct itself. But yeah, what did we get here?
Let me hit you with the list. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX. Then, shortly after, we will get Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, and Pokemon Coliseum.
Woo!
I think the launch day lineup is banging. I think that whole lineup is banging. I think that the GameCube stuff is exactly what you want. I think that, yeah, man.
That's cool.
I think there's a great lineup. I'm stoked.
Looking forward to a number of games on that.
To Super Mario Strikers, I remember it feeling like a fever dream for me.
That game's cool as hell.
I remember we did not have a new release when doing that weekly new release video when we were at the Gamer Access. So we did do a video on Super Mario Strikers and had a fun time with it. So, yeah,
I'll tell you, I do have a little hatred in my heart for Super Mario Strikers, despite enjoying it quite a bit as a child.
Okay.
You see, I owned Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, wow, Super Mario Strikers looks so cool.
Yes.
And my mom found another kid that wanted Melee really bad and traded my copy of Melee for Super Mario Strikers. And at the time,
that's a bad trade.
I was like, cool, I get to play Super Mario Strikers. Only years later, when I grew, did I go, fuck, I could have just had a copy of Melee.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's an interesting trade. Strikers is good though.
Yeah.
Damn.
It is.
Yeah, good lineup. I'm into it for sure.
Yeah, like I know I'm playing new games on day one, but I will happily play some Soul Calibur with you boys if we end up all getting Switch 2s.
Yeah.
Assuming tariffs don't obliterate the price into oblivion.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
yes, go ahead. Do it.
Our next story helps. Our next story helps with this though, that the Nintendo Switch 2 first-party game sizes have been revealed. An important bit that we saw during the Direct is that the Switch 2 has 8 times the storage that the Switch has.
Yep.
Which is pretty desperately needed. The Switch had storage problems from launch. I know, for example, that I, for a period, had just Pokemon Sword on the Switch and nothing else, because the other games I wanted would have put it over its storage limit.
I bought one at launch, and I had Breath of the Wild, and I had Shovel Knight, and that filled up most of the hard drive.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
Yeah.
So the Switch 2 having 8 times that, clearly necessary. And further, games aren't coming out at 8 times the size. The largest game that's going to be coming out at launch is going to be, of course, Mario Kart World, and it's going to be 23 gigs. And that's not small, but it's like very manageable for a 256 gigabyte drive.
Yes.
I I also think that it's worth noting it's faster, and that's also why they require micro SD express cards.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I think that's fine. Donkey Kong Bonanza is listed at 10 gigs. Mario Party at 7.7. Kirby at 5.7.
And then every single GameCube game is going to be roughly a gig because the GameCube disc was 1.4 gigs, so it's not going to be bigger than that.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that apparently it's going to have some level of DLSS support.
Nice.
So that's good. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, this is all great news. I am hoping that those higher capacity, because right now for the micro SD Express, the highest you can go for a reasonable price is 256 gigs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping those terabyte units get out quick.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I want to buy a terabyte and then never have to worry about it ever again.
Right. Yeah. Well, apart from memory size, we also got some battery news.
Yes, directly affected by the memory story there and the presence of DLSS. The battery is bigger but shorter. The console's more powerful, so it's going to take more energy. So it's got a bigger battery. It's got a 5220 mAh lithium-ion battery in comparison to the 4310 mAh battery of the normal Switch. The Switch will last around 4.5 to 9 hours depending on what you're playing. The Switch 2 is 2 to 6.5. So it's actually much shorter. By like a lot.
Yes, but I also think for the level of power you're getting out of this, it's honestly not that terrible. I think that
I'm not much of a walk around gamer, I'm gonna say. You know, I've never felt the draw of the Steam Deck, for example, because I play at my couch or I play at my PC, and so I don't think I have played the Switch 2 not docked in like over 4 years.
I play my Switch whenever I go to San Francisco for Christmas. I played it a lot when I had a hospital stay. I'm probably going to play the Switch 2 a lot at night at Evo when I'm chilling. I tend to play my Steam Deck.
I played it in Tokyo on the plane.
Yeah,
that's the last time I played it undocked.
Sure.
I tend to play my Steam Deck before bed, out, in bed, getting ready. So I think that for this level of horsepower, this is fine. Like this is where this is where the Steam Deck and the Ally X are. You know, you want big, beefy 3D games. It's going to be 2 to 6.5 hours of gameplay. It is worth noting.
I don't think the market has a small and affordable battery that can get you the lifetime of the previous Switch with a console this powerful.
Not if you want it allowed on an airplane. And then the thing to remember about this, it is, in spite of it having a bigger screen than the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally X, it is smaller and thinner. I have a picture I can send to the Discord if Aaron wants to pull this up. You can see a kind of comparison.
I can attempt to pull it up
because they've been doing events. They've been doing events traveling around, and that is, the Switch 2 is smaller than a deck by a wide margin and smaller than an Ally.
Yeah.
But it has a bigger screen, so there you go.
It's really incredible tech in there.
Yeah, it really is just a real incredible piece of tech. Like they people scream at the top of their lungs that, part of the reason this thing is so expensive is because of all this tech, though. It's like, you wanted all this tech, that means price go up.
Right.
What happens?
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be that's fine for me. I don't know. It I think people
I
will be
don't.
generally okay. I'm someone who has never really gotten the urge. Also, like you, Duncan. Like I just don't.
Mhm.
I'm the portable gaming for me is like I'm on the bed. I've gotten to the age
Yeah.
where it's like I want to kick back on my bed and play something for a little bit before I go to bed. So that's kind of it.
You know, I play a lot of DS game. Well, okay, play a lot of DS game as in Pokemon.
Yes.
So I have like 5 DSs over there and a bunch of Game Boys. And for me, I wish I could put those on my TV. I am
I mean, you can. Did you?
the
It is
the
called.
DS. The DS you can't. The Game Boy you can.
Have you heard of this thing called an emulator?
You know, an emulator won't transfer into Pokemon Bank, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The official support is how they killed it.
Yeah. It's actually, I think it's actually some of the most effective DRM I know of, is that all of these games are incredibly sensitive during their game transfer. Unfortunately, it also makes it so that sometimes they just don't work when they should.
It's great. It's good. Ugh. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get through a couple more news stories here. We touched on this a bit during the Direct itself. Hey, Madden NFL is returning to Nintendo for the first time in 13 years.
Huge. That is a huge deal. Madden is consistently a top 5 seller in North America
One of those
and
games
worldwide.
People play only that.
And FIFA
Yep.
is also
So,
huge. So
Yeah, so both of those, like, coming to Nintendo is like that traps more people in their ecosystem, which is what they want.
yep.
Yeah, mind you,
So-
FIFA was already on Nintendo.
Oh, is FIFA already on
They've been
Nintendo?
there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just weren't
every year
good
they still
versions of
release on them.
FIFA.
They're just bad versions.
Yep,
Now
so now,
seemingly the full versions probably is what they're getting,
Hmm.
and they're getting the Madden games at the same time, probably because of the extra power that allows them to
Yep.
support those larger games.
Yep. Yeah.
yep.
And that's
Um,
fantastic for them.
I'm not gonna lie,
Why-
dude. I have always wanted a portable Madden game. It's just that except for the PSP versions, they have all been bad.
Right.
Like, the PSP has been the only good portable Madden.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
if this is anywhere near close to what we get on the non-portable editions, I will absolutely play Madden on Switch too.
Sure.
That is running a Madden franchise with all like the franchise mode stuff is a perfect before bed video game.
So to speculate
Um,
here about why Madden has never been on Nintendo consoles, obviously nothing to do with the power. That's just fake magic.
Of course.
It's because John Madden was personally assaulted by Nintendo, and this is them. You know, they're burying the hatchet. And the Madden team gets to assault one Nintendo executive
Oh,
in return. And
interesting.
that's what
Of
this
course.
really signifies,
Yep.
is the brutal beating of some Japanese man, and he doesn't get
Yeah.
to know when.
Totally.
This is a
Totally.
little known fact, but the Switch was actually born out of John Madden wanting to play Madden on the bus.
Yeah.
And they got to it
Yeah.
posthumously.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
when Miyamoto went to go announce it right before he walked out on stage, he said, "This one's for Madden." That's what happened.
And then he full spiked it into the floor like a football.
Everyone's like, "Why did he do that?"
No.
So
No, everyone
The reason
reacted,
I-
yeah, that's sick.
I'm gonna be real. Real reason is probably the tech issues, because I'm not sure if you've ever seen MLB The Show on Switch.
oh,
But man, that is an ugly video game.
Yep. Look, man, the
That
moment I
is
saw Mortal Kombat try to run on that thing, I was like, yeah, this is nope, this ain't it.
That is a like I was in the eShop capturing footage for a video this week, and I'm like, man, a baseball game on the Switch would be pretty sick. And then I saw the footage of the show on Switch One, and I was like, Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Final news story. We've touched on this a
Yes.
bit, but just a final bit of context for this conversation that we've been having. IGN ran an article comparing the price of the Switch to previous Nintendo consoles as they came out, what the price was then in regards to inflation and all
So
that.
the inflation adjustment here, really interesting because it goes to show how horrible it would be for the Switch if it's $650. Because if it's $650, it will be the most expensive console ever.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo console.
Nintendo
ever.
console.
Yeah, Nintendo console. Well, even the 2 points of comparison they do in other companies, that being the PlayStation, Xbox 360, the PlayStation inflation adjusted is PlayStation 2 565 USD, and the
Yeah,
Xbox 360 is 500 USD.
Yeah, but the PS3 is
The
945.
PS3 it would absolutely blow it out of the water. Correct. In fact, I think it's the PS5 Pro. It'd be just below the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, it would be about where the Xbox One launch units were.
Yeah.
So that's
So
still
for Nintendo
crazy.
consoles, the second most expensive they've ever sold is the NES. Or it would be the NES. The most expensive they have sold is the NES at 523 USD.
Yeah.
And like
So yeah.
650 would be unprecedented for them.
Mhm.
And they've been on a historical downturn. Like it's mostly a downward slope throughout Nintendo's history for how much their consoles have cost. Bottoming out at the Wii, which was only 249 USD. Uh, if inflation adjusted, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, 394 USD.
Oh.
Still bottoming out at the Wii. Or no, it'd be the GameCube. The GameCube was the bottom of their cost, 359 USD today.
That'd be crazy. No, and you look at this chart and like from NES to GameCube, it got progressively cheaper. And then from GameCube to Wii U, it got progressively more expensive. And then it went down from Wii U to Switch Lite. And then for Switch 2, it goes back up again. I think.
Yeah. Funnily enough, this is the exact same scenario they were in when they released the Wii U and took the largest financial hit of their careers. So the Wii was 394 USD. Inflation adjusted, and the Wii U was 415 USD. So they released a more expensive console with similar branding that people didn't understand was meaningfully different. The Nintendo Switch is a very similar console, and they released it for more expense. Nintendo Switch is a very similar console, with branding that makes it seem not meaningfully different from the Switch. The common consumer is probably not going to understand the major differences that the level of power that the Switch 2 has is gonna bring, and it's more expensive than their console. So they've done this cycle before where they release this insanely super effective console that makes so much money, and then they release the Wii U and it completely tanks. So the hope for them is that the Switch 2 doesn't do that again. But the recipe is there.
I think that the Switch 2 is not going to be a Wii U level disaster. I do think it's going to do less. I was talking about, the Switch 2 is on pace to be the best selling console ever. Like it's currently on pace to probably beat the PS2.
Yeah.
I think it was 8 million away as of January. So, and that thing probably has another year or two of sales left in it. So it'll probably top it or tie it. And, it's just only makes sense that it'll go down from there. I think realistically, depending on where the economy goes, you're probably looking at 90 to 100 million units, which is still very respectable. Like I I think that this thing does have an easy marketing tactic though, and it literally is just be like, this is what like this game, Mortal Kombat, and MLB The Show. Just make a Switch game that looked kind of rough, and then show the Switch 2 version.
Mm-hmm.
That is the easiest marketing in the world they can do. Like you know that there you go. You have that built in. With all of that said, you know, how does everyone feel about $450? Like for a Switch 2?
Fine.
For Switch 2, I could do it. Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
do
like
it.
It's not like an insta buy for me, but it's not like it's not a huge fight. Like I'm just like I could probably make that work. I just is Mario Kart going to be calling for me day one? Maybe.
It's about $50 too expensive for me, but that $50 does not like affect me enough to where I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like it just makes me go, oh, that sucks. Fine, sure. You know, I think that, you know, as for so yeah, I guess yeah, it's just like assuming the price stays the same, $450 for the system, $500 for the bundle. They're doing a Mario Kart bundle that's $500. Are you guys gonna get one day one, assuming you can actually get a pre-order and whatnot?
Yeah, I'd do it.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. The more Mario Kart World footage you put in front of me, the more likely it is. But that's you know, I'm not going to do that myself.
I'll send
You'll
you the
have to do it
videos
for
after
me.
I'll send you the videos after the stream.
There you go. Yeah.
Comment in the chat says yep.
Yep. All right, we got a yep in the chat.
Yep.
All right, good.
Yeah. Like
I don't know. I feel
especially
good.
because I already subscribed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, like the thing is, what's really rough about this is that this is just a fantastic console. They've got a great lineup. Everything about this is so good that literally it's just this upfront cost of like I'm gonna get one eventually. It's just day one. I'm moving into a new place at the end of this month and starting a car payment at the same time. So for me personally, it's like I gotta see what the numbers. I gotta see what the numbers on this website here says.
That's true. I may also end up dragging my feet, both because the pre-order process is like annoying. And I don't need to play Mario Kart right on launch. I need to.
I don't need to either. I think honestly for me, I'm more excited.
Mario Kart 8.
The thing for me is I'm super excited about Donkey Kong,
right?
More than anything, and that's a month later.
Right.
Yeah.
And a comment in the chat is pointing out that's right. That I'm not big on playing a lot of these older games because we're always trying to play new and different stuff. But an upgrade pack for Splatoon 3 and giving me another reason to give Splatoon 3 a shot is certainly helping as well.
I think Splatoon is getting a free update. Actually,
I believe it is.
My biggest draw here is the GameCube games.
Right. Like, that too. That's fantastic.
That's a huge like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of games that are getting that treatment. Apparently, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is getting a free upgrade as well.
That's good.
That'll be huge.
Yeah,
that'll be so huge.
Yeah, so is ARMS and the top-down Zeldas.
Cool.
And Mario Odyssey. So there's a bunch of games getting free upgrades as well as the upgrade packs.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I'm like the upgrade pack. Like I have an NSO. I'm subscribed to NSO Plus expansion for a year. Like I'm excited to check out the upgrade packs for Zelda. It's not something I'm super over the moon for right now.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, but I'm not like Mario Kart and Donkey Kong are the big ones, and then I think the GameCube games would probably be next. So yeah,
I realized I have a group that is very likely to want to do a group day one session with Mario Kart World, and so two things for me: I need to check with that group and see if they are doing that day one, and then two, what is the price situation here?
I'm actually in a similar place.
Yeah.
So that's I'm gonna lay out 2 other price points for you because that as well. The first one is okay. Let's say it goes to 500 and then 550 for the bundle. How are we feeling then? Let's say they just decide to go up break even on it instead of making a profit.
I mean,
So the thing for me is that the people I would play Mario Kart Day 1 with would pass on a 550.
right.
Which means consequentially I would pass on a 550 because the
I
thing
mean,
making me get into play it with them is that.
I mean, if I end up getting one of these day one, I'm gonna totally host a Mario Kart night. Just a heads up.
Right.
Yeah,
But
with friends in like Portland that that I would have to play online with. And in which case I would have to own my own one. Mario Kart 8, for example, I just mooched off of other people who had Mario Kart, and that's how I played Mario Kart 8 my entire time I played it. It's just somebody else always had it, so I played it with that.
And then where are we at with full tariff adjustment? Nintendo makes a profit, 650.
I don't think I can do that.
I don't think that's happening.
Get me when the next Pokemon Generation 10 comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
For me, it is 450/500 definitely. 500, 550, like 95%. 650 turns into a proposition where I'm like, I'll see if things resolve by the time Donkey Kong is out, maybe.
Right.
They would also get me if they released all the Gen 3 GBA games
on NSO.
On NSO.
Yeah.
That would also
that'd be
get
pretty
me.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that the big price point for me is like, I cannot imagine they do full tariff pricing, 650.
Right. I wouldn't think
seems-
so either, especially that there's a history of console manufacturers taking a loss on the console to sell software and services and getting by fine.
Yeah, like
just because
I
Nintendo
think if
hasn't
anything,
done
they
it.
would just be.
Yeah.
I think at that point they just go, fuck it, let's just increase the price of NSO.
Increase the
Like,
price of
it's just,
NSO, I
can't
can see a $50 increase. And then
yeah, like I can see NSO going to $100 instead of 50 for the premium.
I could see Nintendo personally sending ambassadors on behalf of Cambodia and Vietnam to try and get rid of these tariffs.
I was fully
'Cause
anticipating
they must be panicking.
I was fully anticipating you saying Nintendo sending assassins in Luigi getup to take care of this problem.
Just ninjas with a Luigi hat.
Yeah. All right.
When they get a kill, they have one guy to Waluigi at it. One guy to Waluigi get up whenever he gets one. He goes, "Wow, I'm gonna win."
Send our Luigi ninja to Trump. We'll make them understand.
Wario smuggled a Switch.
Please understand.
And I think with that we're gonna call it a show. That's a whole lot of news.
Nintendo Week, baby.
Nintendo Week for sure. And hey, this drama ain't resolved. We've got time between now and release. We don't know for sure what the prices are going to be in the US. So
I'm working on a Nintendo video out this upcoming Friday and the reason it's out this Friday and not this past Friday is because I had to completely overhaul 2 large chunks of my script.
Wonderful. All right. Yes, because of some news. I mean, this it's just how timing went. So yeah, look forward to that video.
And gives me more time. I'm fine with you delaying it. It delays me too, and I get another week.
Yep. And then on top of that, hey, we're going to be interviewing people in the launch line at Switch 2. So if you're going to be at the Reno, Nevada Best Buy and you want to be interviewed by us, if you're buying the Switch 2, please come talk to us.
That'll be interesting.
Oh, yes.
All right. See ya.
Good time.
Yeah. Luigi Ninja's coming for you.